Hey guys, welcome back to the Girlfriends and Goals podcast. My name is Samaria and I'm joined by my best friend and co-host.
Miosha.
And we are back to review Married at First Sight season 20, episodes 7 through 9. So please,
Hmm.
before we start the video, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done that already. And throughout the video, leave us as many comments because there was a lot going on in these episodes.
Yes.
And a lot of stuff I didn't really like about the new format, and things that I liked about the new
Okay.
format, like the judges and how involved they are, the fact that we're seeing them so frequently.
Okay.
I'm here for it.
Yes. They're way more involved.
Yes. Now,
Yeah.
the group sessions, we'll get to those because no, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't. No me gusta.
Mm-mm.
All right, so let's kick it off with episode 7. The big thing that happened in this episode was the first dinner. But before the first dinner, there were some couples who had some conversation, like Adam and Marissa. They finally had something close to a real conversation where he talked about how he's had relationship after relationship and then he's been single for a little bit and just didn't really like it, which was
Hmm.
surprising. Marissa shared that she's had some bad date stories, but either way, they seem to be getting along. That was just the closest they've gotten to a serious conversation.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Another thing of point two in this conversation, she was talking about her drinking her wine. He does pour her a bit glass.
Mhm.
She says that she feels like it's could be good for her, maybe being with someone who doesn't drink as
Yeah.
much. But I also question how authentic is she being? Is she holding back on her typical drinking habits because she's
Mhm.
around him? She says that she feels awkward drinking when someone else isn't drinking.
Mhm. Mhm. You know, in regards to pulling back, if it's a bad habit, like I don't necessarily mind it. But if she were pulling back on like how friendly she is or how talkative she is or
Hmm.
how extroverted she is, like some other couples or finding themselves in that position, then I would have a problem with it. But when it's like bad habits, like, okay, well, maybe your partner can be your equalizer. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Am I off?
Well, I agree. It is a healthier habit to not
Mm-hmm.
drink as much, but I think it's also a bit misleading. Like if you're leaning into, hey, I don't want to drink as much anymore, I think you should
Fair.
just do that because from his perspective, if that's truly not what he would want in his lifestyle, his
Mm-hmm.
partner's lifestyle, then you're kind of presenting in a way up front that's not genuine, I think. Like if
Yeah.
I were a non-drinker and I felt as strongly as he did, because the first few episodes it seemed to be a point of contention, then
Mm-hmm.
I would want to know show me your normal drinking habits. Don't pull back. Don't think that you're being judged. I want to know what I'm getting into if
Yeah.
that's just not in line with what I want. So I agree it's healthier for her, but I don't know, it just seems a bit
Is it
misleading.
sustainable?
Yeah, like say she gets more comfortable a year later and she's
Mm-hmm.
drinking wine more frequently than what you feel comfortable with in the home, then it's like that's just a recipe for conflict, I think.
I can see that. Fair. Y'all let us know what you think. But yeah,
Okay.
that's the conversation they had. Also, she mentioned, oh, are we being honest? Are we truly being authentic? So it's, or transparent. And
Mm-hmm.
so it seems like now she's maybe inching toward, okay, we need to have some type of conversation, or this is, it's been playful and that's been fun, but do we need to move it forward? So this was the first, I think, clue that she might be feeling that way
Mm-hmm.
for me. All
Yep.
right. The next couple that has something prior to the dinner is Beljoli and Mecca. And the only
Mm-hmm.
thing I have about them is that he says he feels like now he's being more affectionate and she's pulled back. I said, oh, no, that's right, Beljoli.
Stand on business. For real.
Listen, there's nothing I love more than a person who says, this is what I'm going to do and does it.
Yes.
I
Especially
love
with
that.
this.
Yes.
She's given him enough green lights.
Yeah.
There's nothing else she could do. And I don't know why he's surprised.
Like, duh. What was she supposed to do, Mr. Yeah, you're 150% attracted to me, sir?
You come with these bogus questions. Come on.
He's young, so but it seemed like by the end of these episodes, it registered to him like, oh yeah, shouldn't have done that. Anyway,
Hmm.
we're all learning. Young, old, we all make our mistakes, but I'm just glad that she stuck to, hey, this made me feel a certain way, and she's not pulling back in the sense that she's being mean to him
Mm-mm.
or she's not being affectionate at all. And so I think she does it in a balanced way. I don't know how Mecca feels, but that's how I feel as a viewer. All
Yeah.
right. And then Nick and Courtney. So before the dinner, they have what I thought was kind of a big conversation.
Hmm.
So he says that when she brought up previous relationships in the meeting with Dr. Lisa, he got kind of confused. And so he asked her, hey, has intimacy been a problem for you before? Which I thought was
Hmm.
a good question.
It
And
was.
she said she's had long-term relationships, but nothing meaningful to her.
Yeah. Which was also confusing because the way she described it was, oh, they were surface level. I really wouldn't describe them as relationships. So then what did you have with these people?
She has situationships, but
Mm,
those hurt just as much. I would say those are still relationships. Like you don't want to call it that because there's nothing concrete. But even in the abstract, that
hmm.
there can still be a relationship that is formed and certainly a connection for her. She mentioned that before she was so whipped. Like, I guess she was obsessed with the idea that someone was with her or interested in her. And so when the person started to cheat, she knew about it and she just let it happen.
But that also goes back if you're not in committed relationships. I'm not saying that it wouldn't hurt. I wasn't clear on what she was describing, to be honest. I wasn't. Because to me, if you're in situationships, is there cheating? So I understand what she was saying in that she would maybe not put her foot down and let these guys do whatever they wanted.
Uh-huh.
But I think what he was describing was, were you in a long term committed relationship where you both agreed, okay, we're only together? And then to me, his initial question too was focused on the physical affection part. And I felt like she never answered it
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, at least not in that conversation
Yeah.
with him from what we saw.
Yeah.
So yeah, but she mentioned that she's coming in with baggage. She said
Hmm.
she it felt like she wants barriers to be broken on his end, and then according to her the spark will be there. But I think it's also hard, not that we know that Nick is in this for the right reasons, but
Hmm.
I think in real relationships it's hard for someone to break down those barriers and be vulnerable in anticipation of a spark, because you could always break down those walls and it goes in the opposite direction where there
Hmm.
is no spark. Actually, now I hate you. So
Yeah.
it's a risk, but somebody has to take a risk in relationships, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I think he was trying to get to the root of, say you are interested in a guy,
hmm,
is it that you don't like physical touch? There are people like that where they just don't want people touching them, or they don't want to do PDA, or so I think he was trying to get to the root of understanding her as an independent person
hmm,
aside from all the other things when it comes to, I think he's trying to understand where the boundaries are
yeah.
with the physical affection part.
All right. And
So,
then we go into the first dinner. Everybody was messy. Everybody's like, oh, I can't wait for tea to be spilled or whatever, whatever. How do you like this new format of the group talking about their relationships? Like before, we've seen groups come together and it's like, oh, we're all catching up. But this one seemed very intentional, almost a little bit more like formal with the
mhm.
types of questions that were being asked. Like they weren't just, oh, you're an acquaintance and we're just hearing how things are going. It was like the questions had a level of specificity.
Very focused.
Yeah. And so, and the experts are listening. So, how do you feel about that whole dynamic?
I think it made for good TV,
Hmm.
but I also knew that it put everyone in a position to perform more than anything else. If they, if they're the type of person who cares about optics. And so I felt even from the beginning how much of this would be genuine. We shall see because it's in front of cameras, your peers. Do you want to be the odd one out, who's having all these issues? And later we see people chiming in, giving their opinions on what who should be doing what, how they should be doing it when they barely have their own footing and their own relationships. So I like it from a TV standpoint. I would never recommend this for real life.
Oh, and it's grounds for comparison. Like I know, say Devin, Devin was already comparing himself to people, but I think it is just it's a sticky situation. I think it's an environment that could breed insecurity in your own connections. And so I'm always like, if they were to ever go back to the model where the couples do separate honeymoons and then they have their experiment without other people,
Hmm.
I understand they would miss the community where nobody else really understands what's going on here or how serious this is, but I don't think it could hurt the relationship much.
And it causes conflict because you may want to be on the same page about what you're sharing. I feel like in previous seasons where, say, they came together for the couples meetups that were a lot less formal, sometimes people would get upset, like, "Oh, you shared this," or once they if they found out. So bringing them together breeds drama, anyways. But in this format, it's like, okay, everyone sit down for a nice dinner and spill the tea. At the same time, all of this is being filmed anyway, so everyone is going to find out. So,
Fair, fair. Okay, a few things I noticed. What the heck was Adam wearing? And before Paul, the expert, said it, because the experts are sitting in this room and they're listening in and watching. And so
mhm.
before he even said anything about it, I had written down, what is Adam wearing? Like Marissa, you're so sweet. She just lets
And at this point, I'm wondering, is it because she just doesn't care? She doesn't want to rock the boat too much with him?
or she's
Which
just
one is it?
accepting. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just yeah. Okay. And then Courtney is holding hands with Nick just to walk into the venue. Like
Come on,
they
let's hold hands.
right. We see them walking up to the door. No hand holding. They get in front of the door. She's like, "Oh, well, let's hold hands." They walk in holding hands, do the hey, everybody greets them. And then, according to the experts, they're like, wait, no, they were holding hands, but they dropped their hands almost immediately. So I'm so glad that the experts peeped
Mm-hmm.
something because they wouldn't have known that she walked up without holding his hand and just
Mm-mm.
decided to upon entry.
Yeah. And based off how things play out
Hmm.
going forward, what was even the point of that if you were going to jumping ahead, sorry.
Okay. So them coming in, Nikki comes in. She's the only one who arrives without her partner.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the experts peep that. But Nikki says, oh, he has a work thing, but he'll be here later. The experts are like, that means she doesn't even know if he's coming. I'm like, he probably communicated. Like, I'm sure he was going to show up. But apparently, they had had a date night with Becca, Belle
Mm-hmm.
Jolie, and Mecca the night before, and things turned, no surprise to anybody,
Of course.
things turned left and they had a conflict.
Yes.
All right. Do we want to just go into them talking about each couple?
Yes, let's get into it. You want to start with Marissa?
And Adam,
Yeah,
yes.
because it's nothing much with them, I feel like.
No, nothing at all. So Courtney asked what Marissa likes about Adam besides the goofiness and the fun outfits, if that's how you would describe his outfits.
Uh, they say they're keeping it light, no deep stuff. What a surprise.
Yeah, but she did say, "Oh, he's serious behind the scenes, and I've learned a lot about him, and that he
Cap.
likes relationships." Girl, you just found out before y'all got in the car to come here. So what do you mean? But she's like, "Oh, serious conversations will happen." And the group continues, right?
Hmm.
And they're like,
Which
"Oh."
I'm here for her. Yeah.
You
Press the
are?
water. Yes.
Okay, fair. Fair. So they're like, what are the serious conversations? And we didn't really get an answer.
No. They said that they're aligned, that they were pressing them on if they're aligned for anything, say 5 years out.
Hmm.
Nick says, is there anything deeper? We are on a time crunch. These people don't care. I know for sure that Adam's not serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he likes
Or
her
either
though.
he's not serious or he's truly giving all that he can.
Yeah. So Adam's response was, "Life is so short. If you're not, it's so short. If you're not vibing, what are you doing?" And that's when
If you're
Nick was
not
like, "Okay, are y'all gonna
vibing.
just vibe through decision day? Like, what is going on? Y'all
Samira,
not."
you gotta put the vocal fry on it for not vibing. What do we do?
That's exactly how he sounds. That's exactly how he sounds. Okay. And then here's what's bizarre about this whole thing. So they cut to Courtney and Nick talking about the discussions at the table, right? And so of course Nick is saying to the camera, yeah, it doesn't seem like they're getting deep. It doesn't seem like
Mm.
there's much going on there. And Courtney, standing right next to Nick now in their diary cam thing, says, well, you might not have to be that thoughtful when Adam's the hottest guy in the group. What? No, we gotta talk about. Let's sit down. Come to the front because why are you always looking at what other people's men have?
She got a
First,
wandering eye. If you wonder what it looked like, this is it. She's piecing together her own perfect man. Okay, Felipe's personality,
mm-hmm,
Adam's looks,
mm-hmm.
maybe Sean's degrees. I don't know.
And you can't do this. If you were physically attracted to your person and you guys were vibing, as Adam said, that would still be a problem to say that in front of him. But you're not even giving this man good eye contact. There's no physical touch. He's questioning whether you even like him or not. And that's what you decide to say? Sister?
And I notice when Courtney interacts with the other guys, there's a certain brightness and lightness in her
Very.
energy
Yes.
that completely goes away when she's with Nick. So even if she
She's
didn't
like this with
verb,
Nick. It's like nothing.
she's as hard as those muscles that she's carrying around. But all of a sudden, Adam's talking on the other side of the table. Like her energy, she just leans in.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all over her.
It's very different. Very
And
different.
he handles it almost too much like a champ. And this is where I'm with Courtney. I'm not with her for doing what she's doing, but if a person cares, they're going to give some type of reaction. And I'm not saying that she should be doing any of this, but I it confirms what we already know. He's going to give a polished, neutral answer no
Yeah.
matter what she does.
But he did react a bit. He's like, that is a wild thing to say, or that's crazy.
Yeah, he said that's a wild thing to say, which is
Mhm.
minimal,
Which
I
what
think.
you want him to you want him to be dramatic. And here's the thing. So he probably does want a relationship, but I think he's just too. And there are people like this, too poised, too polished, too aware of the camera, too
Hmm.
aware of the impact this show could have. And so he could be genuine about this process and he's just a super polished person. Do I think so? I think, he came with, I don't think he came to like be mean to whoever he was paired with or
Mm-mm.
anything like or cause drama. I think he would have been interested in this working out,
Hmm.
but he also saw the opportunity that it is.
Well, and in his defense, Courtney could use some of that polishedness because it's not going well for her.
Baby, he needs to take 75% of that polish and just dump it on her. Like that's what
Hmm.
needs to happen. Okay, so next we move on to those two.
Hmm.
They're talking about oh, this is so bad. Sorry. They're talking about what they like about each other. And Nick says, he loves the banter that they have. Yeah, I think he made a comparison like, oh, it's like not the flirty fun that Adam and Marissa have, but it's something. And
Mm-hmm.
so he said, but she's not affectionate, and starts to make excuses for her. She's not affectionate, but she just needs time. Like she cares, but he just thinks she needs time. And then she chimes in, and that's where it all goes downhill. Because I was like, it's okay to not talk sometimes. It's okay to just be quiet.
But I don't know. At this point, do you think she's self-sabotaging? She's just like, I don't care? Or is this just how she is?
I think she's an overthinker.
Okay.
I don't know that I don't know that she thinks she's sabotaging. But maybe I don't know. I think she just wants to be heard and she just wants to get stuff out. So
Mm.
I don't even
She
think it's
is all over the place
yeah.
in her thinking. Even the story she shared about how he was trying to cuddle her and she was like, oh, I couldn't wait for the alarm to go off and get the F out of here. And just when she does talk, it's like diarrhea of the mouth. It's just too much.
Like and I need her to stop telling that story. You know, like, oh yeah, poor guy tried to cuddle me and I was just there like a lump of logs. You know, I couldn't wait. I was checking the time and you like you could have also verbalized, hey, can we not cuddle right now? I'm not comfortable cuddling. Like you didn't have to sit there like a
Hmm.
lump of logs. And so you didn't take agency in that moment and now everybody's having to hear about it and looking at him crazy. Like, I don't know. I just want her to care about this is a slippery slope, but care about preserving his image just a
Well, yeah.
little bit.
Well, yeah.
It is a
And
slippery slope, but yeah.
confidence. And it's all, and I hate to do this, but I think sometimes when women are using that type of language, when they would describe, like, oh, I don't want a man on me or whatever, whatever, I think if we saw a man do this, we would just be like,
Burn him at the stake.
no way. Like, we just would not stand for it.
Oh,
But
he
then
hates
Felipe
him.
does chime
Girl.
in, and this is where the fakeness comes out again. Felipe is like, how does it feel to have your wife reject you?
But Adam steps in first. Adam was like, "Oh, like I wouldn't say like reject it. Like I wouldn't use that to describe it." And then Nick says, "Oh, I understand." You know, and with her explanation of it, I don't feel it's okay to say it's rejection. Like, and I get it because you know these people
Mm-mm.
like they're cool, but they're not cool like that. And that's the flaw of this group setting where everybody's supposed to be talking about their issues. Like, I don't even know if I trust these people for real. Like, who's gonna give me good advice? Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, he gives a very polished answer.
Then I think this is where they were asking Courtney, is this how you usually are? She
Mhm.
says, yes, she's a slow burn. If I hear slow burn one more time, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
it's too much.
it's
We get it. Girl, you're slow burn, it's not even ignited.
yeah, yeah.
And so Belle asked Courtney, what are you going to be doing to improve it? Is there any action? And she's just like, oh, it'll just be time. It's always been that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I appreciate what Sean had to say about this. So Sean said, "Well, you're an athlete. I think he was talking more to Nikki than he was to Courtney. Like, you know how you say something to somebody else, but you say it
Mm,
around the person who you really want to get the message. That's what I think this was, but it was still good advice for Courtney too. So he says that you're an athlete. You disciplined yourself to do the thing that you
mm-mm,
wanted to do and to get that like practice in. And so he said, like, just like your weightlifting, just like whatever it is that you're doing, even if you don't want to do it, you discipline yourself to do it. And then it becomes a habit. And so he was saying, start training that muscle with your affection for Nick. And
mm-hmm.
she was like, well, respectfully, no.
Yeah, I don't want to fake it.
I don't
And
want to fake it, girl.
I don't think he was asking her to fake it. I understood the, analogy he was trying to
Yeah.
make. But I think that comes out in all areas where you kind of have to work on those things. In order to get better, you do
Hmm.
have to put forth some effort.
Yeah.
And
Just
she's not, it's a waste.
dip your little toe in the pool. Right now, you saw the pool and you're like
Mm-hmm.
on the opposite side of the park or whatever. Uh, and then she goes. So Nick starts to say, "Oh, I've built my confidence in the past few years." Like he was very complimentary of her, like praising her and
Mm-hmm.
uplifting her. Really, I said, "Nick is good. Like you better commit to getting that good at it." See what's going on here, but he starts to say, I'm not phased by it because I've built my confidence for the past few years to
Mm-hmm.
get to where I want, and I'm committed. And here goes Courtney.
Nobody. He not confident. He don't love himself.
Right. And I was like, you just say anything. How are
But
you
then,
gonna tell him he's not confident?
but then she tried to clean it up because then she tries to say, "Oh well, you men put on like you have." No, it's not a you men.
Mm-mm.
Let's go back. Now
Mm-mm.
you want to address all the men at the table,
Be for
which
real.
is also bizarre. Oh, y'all lack confidence and women are more confident. Girl, are you looking in the mirror?
She's not starting with the man in the mirror. She's not listening to Michael Jackson.
No, and she needs to.
Nah. But yeah, so then the others step in because I mean it was a diss. Like the way that it happened at the table, everybody was like, not him saying he's confident, her being like, no, you're not. But Marissa said, oh, there's a difference between being confident and being vulnerable. Uh
Hmm.
so yeah, I don't know. I Courtney, I just need her to be more tactful.
And it just felt so unnecessary for someone to
Yeah.
be so hard shelled and clammed up in her own relationship, but then to get at the table and be doing all of this. She was a person I would expect to show up and give nothing because that's what she's giving in this
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she gave everything too
No.
much. And here
It's
we are.
the diary of the mouth. Okay. I think next they talked about Mecca and
Mm-hmm.
Belle Jolie. I I'm gonna say what happened, but I really want to talk about this more later when it comes
Okay.
up in episode 9. But
Mm-hmm.
Mecca says he feels like he can tell Belle anything. He compliments her. He implies that he was like blown away by what he saw. Dr. Lisa said, "Oh, that this seems kind of like performative." And
Mm-hmm.
I agreed with her because he's saying stuff like she unlocked a side of me that I thought I would never see. And it just felt like a lot. He's like, I'm so aroused by how she's just that girl. He's saying all these things. And was it too much? Was it performative? Sure. I think some of that comes with, like you said, the setting that they've been placed in. You don't want people to think you're doing poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think he likes her, enjoys her company. I think they're having fun with each other. So it didn't feel to me like it felt like he feels these things and he presented them with a little bit more decor. Like he
Mm-hmm.
might have put some confetti
Mm.
on it. But yeah, I thought it was performative, but it wasn't like a thing where, oh, he's lying, like, oh, he hates her. No.
Yeah, I got the vibe that he was definitely putting 20 on 10,
Mm-hmm.
but the 10 is still there. I think he was genuine in the things he was saying because he opened up by saying, like she's a female version of me and we get along so well. And both of them have talked so highly about
Each
how
other.
they've been enjoying each other's company. So I think all of that is true.
Yeah.
The real question is the romantic side. Is this platonic? So I think in a group setting amongst couples is if you're saying all that, that's because you're all in on the romance with her as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what he was saying was true, but did it apply in the romantic aspect?
For
And
sure.
that's what makes it feel performative. But there was a lot of truth in it.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Oh yeah, and then Adam I think follows up with why
well, he
has
brings up the question. So he brings up this silly question he decides to ask so that they can rate their level of attraction. the 150 versus 80%. I think Tori chimed in, oh, that's a great girl. Be quiet.
And this is why the couples don't need to be, because
When is
like,
that a
that
good question?
was an awful question. What do you mean?
And if you're the person to pose the question knowing you're gonna come in so much lower, that is so bizarre.
Right, you set her up.
It'd be one thing if she asked him.
Yes.
No, he asked her to rate her lower.
And imagine if she had answered first and said, "Oh, I think you were this." No, no.
Anyways, and so
Adam.
naturally some people at the table are like, that's crazy. And Adam's like, oh, so you friend zoned her. Now he's being more affectionate and she's pulled back and this all makes sense.
Yeah, and she said that question messed things up for her because, now he's started to be more affectionate, but she doesn't know what to do with it because it's like, okay, are you just doing this to appease me? Am I supposed to respond to it? Like, what exactly is supposed to happen? And while this is going on, Nikki turns to Sean and whispers to him, I'm trying to figure out how to talk about this relationship without embarrassing you. Now, to be fair, why are you laughing? Yasha, you're laughing like it's the first time you heard that.
Because like my head just went back to like them pulling the cameras to them, the way she leaned in.
So, I'm trying to figure out how to talk about this relationship without embarrassing you.
That is wild.
However, I do wish that some of the other people at the table had that same mindset. I think her intention was good. It's just that she's assuming he should be the one embarrassed and not her. And that's the problem.
That's the thing. That's not something you vocalize in that moment. Y'all have
In your
self
head.
at the table as the conversation's in progress.
Mm-hmm.
I think she could have thought it. I think they could have texted about it. What are we going to share?
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
it just gave very almost kind of parent child
Hmm.
vibes of like her. That's a huge assumption.
Yes.
And
Beautiful thought. Once it's verbalized, like, no. Because, yes, we should all be thinking about how do I present all the issues? And they've had a lot of issues, right? How should I present this without making my partner look a certain way?
but that shows her mindset of making him look bad, not us look bad. I think if you're
Yeah.
invested in a relationship, it's like if I speak on even what you did, like if I speak on what my partner did,
Hmm.
we're together, we're married.
Yes. But I also, because some of the things that have happened have stemmed from her saying, "Oh, I'm not that attracted to you," like, I understand. How do I say, hey, what we're struggling with is he thought I was attracted to him and then he had to find out, no, I'm not. Like, I can see how some of their specific situations would make her think that way. Again, you think
Mm.
it, and then in your head, you come up with what's the best way to say this
How do you
so
want to
that
handle
he
this?
doesn't look bad, I don't look bad, we don't look bad. How do we handle it? But yeah, I think if I
Mm.
were to put myself in Nikki's head, that's probably what she's thinking. Like, oh, I've like told this man I'm not interested in him. He was thinking we were
Well,
making
so
progress.
you're thinking about the attraction part. I'm thinking
I
about
think
her
that's what
talking
she
to,
was thinking.
oh, I was thinking about all of, because the other people within the group have had their concerns around, is this person into me? Are they attracted to me? So it's not that foreign of a concept. I was thinking of more around the way he's been talking to her, the sexual things. I didn't even jump to the physical attraction piece.
Well, like with the sexual things, right? Even if she were bringing that up, the only piece about that would be embarrassing is that she doesn't feel the same way, that she's not reciprocating, right? Like if he said,
Mm,
oh, 69, and she was like, yeah, let's go for it. there's no embarrassment there. But I think just based on her watching how other couples talked and how things went with them, I think that's what triggered her to be like, oh, Courtney is saying all this stuff about Nick and she's presenting it in a way that's very mean, embarrassing, like the cuddling thing. I didn't even want to cuddle.
Mm,
I didn't even, like, so if I had been at that dinner and I had seen how everybody else was talking, specifically Courtney and Nick, and then like Belle Jolie and Mecca,
mhm,
like where the whole attraction thing, that was a big thing where one person is feeling rejected and the other person isn't. I think my mind would have gone to, okay, how do I present this,
mm.
to preserve image.
I
But
think you're giving her a lot of credit, but
I,
okay.
I think her thought process made sense, you know. Um, I just don't think you say that to someone. I think you're mature enough to assess the situation, which is very valid, and that's what
Hmm.
I'm seeing. Like it's a very valid situation, but you assess it and then you present things in a way that doesn't make this person look awful.
Yeah, and they've had, but
Right.
they've also had a lot of conflict. Like every scene, they've had conflict.
Yeah.
But either way, so it kind of pings to them, and then we come back,
To the group.
yeah, to the group.
So they talk about, we didn't really say much about Michelle and Cameron.
Yeah, it's all going well. They're in love almost,
Yeah, he said,
and
and talking about performative, Cameron said, oh, yeah, we're thinking about what forever looks like. Cameron, you're thinking about what forever looks like? You were just telling her how afraid of commitment you are? Who's being performative? Let's be very for real. And for those who don't watch, you'll see why in episode 9, you'll see why I
yeah,
feel this way about this specific couple and the word
yeah.
performative. Moving on.
I think they are genuinely vibing, but I think because they have the least amount of conflict on the surface,
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of posturing themselves as like, oh, we're the mature ones who have it together.
Because she says it later on. She's like, oh, we're the second oldest couple, so we have to lead in a certain way and we have to da da da. Okay, girl. All right. Devin and Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now they laughed at this, but I also didn't think this was the most careful way of communicating. He said it felt like he cannonballed into a frozen lake. And Caitlin is the frozen lake.
Yeah, no lies told.
Now he should not have said that at that dinner.
I think because of how she is as a person, I don't know that it bothers her.
Yes, but
I
also no
wouldn't,
justification.
but based off how she, I think when you present harder and colder, people think that they have more leeway with the things they do and say like, "Oh, you won't be affected by it. You'll be fine."
Okay. Now I like Devin, but I don't think he should have said that. But he followed up, and I really appreciate it. A few things he said. One, I think he said I had an expectation of how I wanted her to show up, and when she didn't, it sent me into this place where I felt like I was being rejected or abandoned.
Hmm.
I feel like he's just taking everything this process is giving him and really receiving it. And so I really appreciate him as a contestant on this show.
He's looking inward before he's looking more outward
Mhm. He
compared
said
to
I
most.
came in aggressive. Like to even be able to see that in yourself and not
Hmm.
stay in the place of being offended or stay in the place of feeling rejected or abandoned. Like this man is really trying.
She says that he's used to getting what he wants in terms of women's attention, instant gratification, but obviously this process is different. Um, I don't know. I think I appreciate his reflection and looking inward, but I also think that it is normal to come in with some level of expectations of anything.
It's a
So,
marriage.
yeah, right. It's still married at first sight. So I could appreciate him looking inward, but I think everyone has expectations coming into this. But she's all over him and touching him during this dinner, and
Think it's fun to look at you, is what she says.
mm, yeah.
Okay, cool. And then we have Felipe and Tori.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So he says he's committed to her and never thought he'd find someone like her.
Mm.
Which, listen, the tone changed between episode 7 and 9. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he wants to be committed to her.
He does.
Yeah.
She shares with the group how she ran after sex. So this is another situation where they're being very vulnerable about the physical aspect of their relationship, and one person thinking one thing. She says that she feels like it was maybe too soon. She knows she can self sabotage. He says that this isn't anything he's ever experienced before and that he's trying his best. She says that it's not him, it's her. He says that he fears losing that passion, which I think to a certain extent is normal, but I wonder if Felipe voicing that is like a what do they call that? Not a carrot, like a is it a dog whistle?
Oh,
Yeah, where now he's talking about, well, I don't want to lose the passion, like, and I
oh, you
get,
mean like he's like it he's preemptively saying what's gonna happen. This is what I felt Mecca was doing. Like a few
yeah, like,
episodes ago. Mm-hmm.
okay, we got intimate, she pulled back, and then now he's like, well, he's kind of posing it as, well, if we don't have this physical connection, then the passion won't be there. So I don't know. I just wonder if that would inadvertently, and I'm not saying he's doing this on purpose. I don't know this man, but if that would put pressure on her to continue to move things forward physically because now he's complaining about potentially losing the passion.
Oh, I hope not.
I hope not, but I thought the timing was interesting of him voicing that concern.
Yeah. Dr. Lisa was watching and she said, when we first met him, first of all, they called Tori and Felipe like an anchor in the group, I guess because their relationship was going so well. Whatever. And she said, oh, he was such a party boy when we met him. I said, it's only been a few days. Let's just give him some time. And that's another thing I
Mm.
missed. Can we get on the bottom of the screen how many days it's been?
They're doing weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
I
kind
don't
of
really like that.
confusing.
I don't
Yeah.
really like that. Okay. And then we get to Nikki and Sean.
Mm-hmm.
So Nikki says, I've learned so much from all of you. And then she says that he's been framing her like she's the problem and he's this stable
Hmm.
space. Uh, I don't know. Mecca chimes in and says, not to like take his side, but based on whatever happened at dinner the night before
Hmm.
their hangout, he was like, can you give him some grace and just try to understand where he's coming from?
And just to call out specifically, I guess he was saying that he wanted to provide a safe space for her to land or to be a soft spot, in case she ever has any fears or anxiety. He wants to be there to support her. She took it as him calling her anxious and felt a way about it. So just for a little bit more context of, I guess, the one of many beefs they've had.
Yes, and there was the thing of like at the airport
Oh
where
yeah,
he
call him
said,
crazy.
yeah, where he called her crazy, and he thought he was just repeating what she had said. But it's like, you know how I can say something about my sibling, but don't you? Like I
Mm-hmm.
could say I'm crazy or whatever the word is she used. She said she didn't use that word, but I could say that about me. But don't you get too familiar with using that word in my direction? So I think it was that thing. But she also says we don't talk about conflict and then the things like keep happening.
Mm-hmm.
To me, when it came to that particular situation, it sounded like they did talk about it. Like we saw them
Mm-hmm.
talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think Nikki was wildin' this dinner and after, but I think she needs to get to the bottom of this being a deeper issue. Like I don't know who has called her anxious, crazy, or whatever in the past, or says she's acting erratically, or I don't know, but I feel like she needs to get to the bottom of that because it seems like when Sean says anything that isn't favorable, it's taking her
Mm.
somewhere.
And I think her reaction doesn't always warrant the offense. But I think it all goes back to if you're with someone that you like or you're attracted to, that grace is maybe given up
Mhm.
front. So even her being like, oh, I chose to remove myself from the conversation at the airport. And it's like, girl, all you could have said was, hey, I appreciate if you wouldn't call me crazy. Move on.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or, hey, I understand you wanted to be my safe space for me to land and be soft, but I'm a big girl. I can handle my own. So I think she could be challenged just to talk through and course correct a bit in the moment instead of, I don't know.
It's like she goes too far and then,
Yes.
I don't even know that she
And
comes back. But
yeah, and so I'll say that whenever she whispered to him like, "Oh, I'm trying to decide on how this conversation should go. I don't want to embarrass you." I think in that moment Sean decided, "Okay, I'll let you take the lead
mm,
in whatever is discussed." And so I think from the beginning, especially with the amount of detail that she went in with describing some of the conflicts that they've had, I think she kind of talked herself
oh, like
into,
she hyped herself. She was her own hype man.
yes, assuming how it would go. So then when she starts talking, she's almost saying too much. He's just sitting there being quiet. And then even when Mecca tries to say, hey, like I was there, is there any part of accountability that you would be willing to take? She still isn't super receptive of that. And so I think she just kind of had in her mind how she knew it was going to go. But because he chose to sit there and say nothing really, it's kind of like,
He let her hang him. Wait, he let her hang herself with the string. Whatever. What's that saying?
and even if he was to chime in, because they have this thing of like, oh, well, I want to talk, I want to talk.
Mm.
Even if he would have tried to speak up, she wasn't going to let him. So,
He said, "Let me play my little game on my phone."
well, then I think at a certain point, Devin jumps in and says, both of you have walls up, you have a lot of ego. Sean is ignoring him and is on his phone, which is rude. You could give him eye contact at this point, even if you don't want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, he's not the one you're mad at. It's her.
Yeah, like, and I get it when you're in front of all those people and she's just going, like, running her mouth of all the things you're doing wrong. Anybody would shut down,
Yeah.
probably.
It's so crazy because like they're on this show and we're talking about it, but I think that's how a lot of people would react, and
I
we
would
just
have
have to
sat there just
see it
like
later.
this.
That reminds me of a very specific moment in your life, but I'll save that for like remind me to tell you. That was like I replay that moment a lot in my head because I'm like, I know it took all the restraint in you to just be still. And so I try to channel my Miosha in certain situations like that.
I
But
will give you eye contact, but I will give you nothing.
literally blank.
So, and also I think there's a difference of age as well. So
Yeah.
Sean is 48, Devin is 28.
He ain't about to be schooled by the doctor isn't about to be schooled by
So there's
these
an age
kids.
thing, education. So I get why he was feeling like the need to check
Yeah.
out. Um,
Like I'm already getting it from here. I don't need it from. I don't need the rest of y'all chiming
and
in.
so Devin says to her, okay, well, where's your part in all of this? And she says, oh, well, I match his energy. Nikki, you also give energy as well. So
You don't have to match it, baby. You bring it.
she brings it. And
Okay.
so, go
There
ahead.
was something I had to rewind this part because
Oh, yeah.
they seem to react a lot to her saying like I guess he said something like, "Oh, now you're towering over me," and she was saying she's 5'5". How can she tower over him,
Yeah.
or something like that? I I guess I just kind of heard it as I'm short, he's sitting down. I can't tower. I'm not like towering over him. But it seems like the group heard it as her speaking negatively about his height. And so I was like, am I confused? Like,
So I don't think she said anything directly about his height. I That's how I heard it. Like, oh, well, how could
yeah.
I be towering over you? I'm only 5'5".
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things because all the men had a visceral reaction to
Yeah.
it.
That's I was like, I had to
So the
rewind
height
it.
thing is maybe to men what a weight or body comment would be. So even if it's nothing, because we've seen this where it's not anything direct, but it's in the arena or the area, they're
United States.
sensitive to it. It's like, why even bring the height up? Like, so I don't think it was direct, but it is a sensitive thing because all the men reacted to it.
Right. Like, wait, what did she say? I thought she said he's 5'5". I'm like, oh, did she say that? So I rewind it. I'm like, hey, I don't.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think it
but
was a
it's like
direct.
the context didn't. To me, the context didn't support that being an insult. Like, and so I
Unless
understand.
they did something weird with the editing.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah, unless they did, because the way they all
It was
responded,
all of them.
it was
Yeah,
all of them. The only thing I could say is the height thing is a sensitive topic, I think, to men. And just like, body weight, body
hmm
type, body
hmm
image is for women. And if you're anything in that arena,
Okay.
they may take offense, even if it's because, we've seen it where a man has said something. It's like, oh, well, that's not direct. But because it's a sensitive thing, it's like, oh, well, you shouldn't even be in the house of
In
that.
that, yeah, that's all I was saying. Clint and Gina. I don't remember what the comment was that he made, but he said it because she talked about him being like him having red hair,
She
and
was going in on his hair color.
yeah, and so he said the weight thing, and it was like, whoo,
He didn't even say weight. He was like, I usually date someone with an athletic build. And
that's slim, but sure.
if I'm not mistaken, she commented on the men that she usually dated first.
hmm
And his was a reaction. It was he didn't even
This was a reaction, but I think we talk about a different season now, but I think that was I'll say for me that was the season I learned how offensive because I grew up with Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap, so
hmm
I didn't know that in their community there was such a
Oh yeah.
stigma. So that was when I first heard like, oh, he was offended by that, and that is why he pushed
hmm
back with that reaction. And then it started to make sense. But initially, I was like, now why would he bring up her weight? And he like, come on, this is not the same. This is apples to oranges.
But
Apples to
it was in
apples.
the ballpark. So
hmm
it's like,
Yeah. Anyway, for those who don't
yeah.
watch MAFS, that was like several seasons ago. That
Yeah.
might have been our first season reviewing. Anyway, so back to Nikki and Sean. Mecca responds and says, like, I can see that y'all are compatible. I said, can you? Is compatibility in the room with us? I don't really see it. Maybe as friends, but yeah. Anyway, so
Mhm.
that was the end of the big dinner. And we just talked about this episode for an hour.
Oh, really quick.
Yeah.
They do prompt Sean to chime in, and
hmm
he just said that he's committed to the process. It's not in his DNA to quit, and yeah. So,
Yeah. So after the episode, they follow a few couples. Michelle and Cameron, that was when she said something like, we're the second oldest, we want to lead with maturity,
mhm.
whatever. And then, of course, they took us to Courtney and Sean. I mean, Courtney and
Nick.
Nick. Thank you. Courtney
Hmm
and Sean. So I just noted that Courtney is ridiculously critical of Nick.
hmm
So when they come out of the building, out of the dinner, he's like, oh, the Uber's here or whatever. And she's like, oh, you only got a Jetta? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, like, girl, you could have called the Uber. I'm sure MAPS is reimbursing y'all for it. It's not like, like you could have called the Uber, whatever. And then he goes to like open the door and he steps back and accidentally, I guess, steps on her.
hmm
So he like steps back. He's like, after you. And she's like, oh, like,
Like,
as you're stepping on my foot. I was like, okay, that's the second thing you said to him that I don't really like. And then she goes, but I guess I shouldn't complain because it's the first time you've opened a door for me. Okay. 3 complaints in 30 seconds is wild. And sometimes I'm a complainer, but girl, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's even for even for me. That is plenty.
Then they're in the car and he revisits the confidence comment that was made at dinner. She's like, yeah, I guess it really was messed up of me to say that, but maybe I just used the wrong word. Can't even apologize or take ownership for the fact that it should have been said in the first place. She says, all y'all are used to instant gratification. He's like, well, I've been rejected as well. Like, I don't get every person that I've wanted.
She took Devin's comment and now all of a sudden it's being applied to Nick. And she needs to separate. You're so busy looking at other men in this process that now you're applying their truths to him, and that's not fair. It's moments like this that make me think Nick is, unless the producers prompted him, but it's moments like this that make me think, oh, he may actually be invested. Like if he was just like
Mm-hmm.
trying to do the whole polish thing,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would have even brought it up. I would have just been
Mm-mm.
like, okay, we discussed it, fine. But him bringing it up and then him trying to have this conversation of, hey, I've been rejected too. I felt that was a moment of authenticity.
It was. But she made it about her.
Anyway, all right. And then Sean and Nikki. So this was the episode where, oh, Nikki. Oh, Nikki. They don't even make it into an Uber. Nikki is outside letting Sean have it. You sat in there and you just had me looking crazy. And there, girl, you had yourself looking crazy. Stop. Cut it out. You had yourself looking crazy and he was quiet. Like if you weren't on your Courtney rant,
What
you
did she
wouldn't have
say?
looked so bad.
You presented me in the worst way possible.
And did not. He did not. He didn't even present her. He didn't even present her.
He didn't present his case from what we saw. Now, I think some people would have expected that he would have chimed in and said something of taking some level of accountability, but from the edit we saw, he didn't say anything.
And for what? She was just going to disagree with him and then they're going to be doing what they're
Mm.
doing on the street. So, as this is such a funny scene. Obviously, he had taken off his coat so that she could be
Mhm.
warm. So, she's wearing his coat and she's just like kind of letting him have it. Now, I'm sensitive to scenes like that. I don't like I don't like that being on my
Mhm.
screen. Like just a man being, or anybody, a man, a woman, or whoever being torn down and just kind of sitting there and taking it. It was the same thing that happened with Ben and Morgan during the San Diego
Oh
season.
yeah.
It made me very uneasy. And then at the end, like, there's nothing he could have said that would have made it better. She's like,
Mm-mm.
so I'm just going to give you this back, and gives him his coat. Okay, girl, thank you. Because now I don't have to be cold.
Right.
Now I can be covered up. But yeah, it was just really uncomfortable. And I think that Nikki lacks the ownership that she wants him to have. Like with Sean, at least once he does his meditation and a new
Hmm.
day comes, he can take ownership, he can take accountability, he can move past. But I think Nikki is just internalizing things, and she needs to figure that out.
And the root of her of her anger in that conversation was not what he had done, I think. It was because the group
Attacked
w-
her, yeah.
was trying to get her to take some level of accountability. So that's what
Mhm.
she was really upset about.
But she can't take it out on all of them, so poor Sean.
No. And so he's like, hey, I'm not going to fight with you anymore. But she's over talking him again. She says, I don't think I have the capacity to help you. And he says, so why don't you leave? Nikki, that is the real question. Why don't you leave?
When she was dumbfounded, she didn't have a comeback for that. She's like,
Mm-mm.
why would I leave?
Mm-mm.
Girl. Anyway.
Nope.
Okay. So now episode 8.
Yes. And she, I
Okay.
think that night she goes to stay
At
at
her
her own
home.
place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Episode 8. Let's see. I feel like we should call this slow burn. But
Mm-hmm.
let's start with Caitlin and Devin because that's where the episode starts. They went on a paddleboard date. I thought that was really cute. They debriefed the night before, but what I appreciated about their debrief was it wasn't, oh, let's talk about everybody else. They
Hmm.
were talking about themselves. So
Yes.
y'all ate that. Okay. And then this episode, he goes to her cycling class and he gets to meet and talk to her friends.
Yes. Her friends, oh, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
no, no, no. You go.
I was going to say her friends confirmed that she's very independent. She needs her time. So this is her usual MO. Her friends are the same way as her. Her friend even said, "Oh, I was away from my husband for a whole month, and he said that, oh, I had my, I'm delayed, I can't come back." She was like, "Oh, don't worry, you can stay away longer." So all of them seem to be in this vibe of just loving their own energy and space.
But if I'm Devin, this conversation, this whole, oh, I've been away from my husband a month and now he's in Vegas and I'm like, stay, I would be concerned. Even as a person who's not like super clingy or needy,
Hmm.
like between the two of them, I could probably relate more to Caitlyn. And that's why
Hmm.
I'm like, girl, okay, you're doing the most. But if I were away for an entire month and came back and you were just like, oh, well, now I want to go somewhere, or I'm like, you didn't miss me after a whole month, I would question that. And so I think for Devin, the realization probably starts to set in that, okay, I'm not going to be missed, even if I'm away
Hmm.
for a long period of time, which he potentially would be, right? Because he plays rugby, is
Hmm.
it?
Hmm.
So he's probably thinking, or if I were him, I would be thinking, so when I come back, there's not going to be any type of fanfare. Because if I'm away, I need to come back to like
Yeah.
balloons and signs and
Or
whatever.
even you're excited to see me at
See,
at a bare minimum. No confetti, but oh, I'm happy you're home.
no confetti.
But then something that was interesting too, she says none of her friends are gentle. They're all straight shooters. So it seems as though she surrounded herself with a kind of a carbon copy of herself. And so I
Yeah.
think what's interesting is like, say you have friends who are different, then I don't know. I think him coming in and kind of being the odd one out in this whole friend circle, yeah, that's probably not going to work because the friends will just reiterate how she already feels.
Why is he being so needy? Why is he there? Like, God forbid a human being wants affection. My God, today. I also didn't like how she sat there and let them talk about his hair.
Trifling.
Because
So trifling.
I don't care how new he is. You're not about to talk. Can we fix his hair? You shouldn't even feel comfortable saying that to me,
No.
husband.
And it's not for you to like. He's my man. In fact, don't like it. That's and she was just giggling.
She's like, oh, well, he likes to have it for the rugby season, and nah, 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 nah. Like, okay, he's very cute with the blonde tips. He might be on his Lance Bass, but he's adorable.
Yeah. And I like it.
Yes, and I like it. Okay, Tori and Felipe meet up with his parents. Uh oh,
Mm-hmm.
they meet
Yeah,
up with
so
his parents. Yeah, my
yeah, so Tori says that living with Felipe has been great. She's gracious to his parents for raising him well. Felipe, we'll just say the parents love her. I think from what they can see at this point. I'm being maybe a bit critical, but I think it's because they think she's pretty. And
so super kind.
she is
Just the
super kind,
yeah.
but I think it definitely helps because they're not digging too much in these conversations, I think.
But they could also just be really warm and open people, which
Mm.
is how they seem. And then she's
Yeah.
like vibing off of their warmth, and she's also a naturally warm person, it seems. So at
Yeah.
first, yes, I think they were blown away by her looks. I guess that's,
Hmm.
what they would like. But now I think it's also, I don't know. I like Tori. I think she's very sweet. So maybe I'm being biased.
Yeah. I like her too. Um, I don't know. I feel like we also don't see a whole lot about them.
Yeah. And
So,
she's very, she's very poised. she's like Nick, but a woman who
More
hasn't done.
open.
She hasn't done reality. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's not as he
Mm-hmm.
is, but I think she's still very intentional and thoughtful about what is presented and how it's presented.
Yes. Yeah. So his mom loves her, says, you can call me whenever you want. You can call at 3 a.m. I would answer anything I can do to support you. We're all family now. For him to be worried about his mom, I think it's going very well. So,
He need to be worried about himself because he talks to his dad and says he's trying not to run
how did he say it? How do you stay focused or something he
on the
said?
same person. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I'm giving it my all." It's been 10 days, I think. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a very brief period.
Yeah, the way that he worded it was kind of off too to me. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to try to be monogamous." What does that mean? Coming from a person who cheated and claimed they forgot, him using this type of language is a problem for me.
Absolutely. And the dad says, I've always told you you need to invest time. And he's, Felipe makes the simplest things seem so dramatic because why did he say, I'm figuring out that I need to be cognizant that I'm a husband every day. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
You just figured okay.
maybe it's dramatic because of the words he's using. Like sometimes if English is a second language, is that
Not his second language.
no? I know he speaks three languages. I don't
But
know.
English is his first.
Oh, it is his first?
I
Oh, okay.
think.
Well,
I
never
don't know. I
mind.
don't know. I'm guessing. His
But you
English
know
is
what I mean? Like,
yes,
how,
I just don't think it applies to him. That would
no,
be
he,
like me in French, because that's very much a second language that I'm struggling
yeah.
with. But he's super fluent in English.
Yeah, he's just being dramatic then. Then he brings up the passion again. Felipe, I don't know. This now all this passion talk, passion.
Yeah, yeah. And I think Michelle said it best, where she's like, I don't think it's normal for anybody to maintain a heightened sense of butterflies. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Then we have Nick and Courtney,
Mm-hmm.
and this episode, what's happening? Okay, so he says some days he feels like she's more warm, and other days she's not, and they have a conversation where she thanks him for like wanting to stay and work it out. I think I just need her to heal a bit before embarking on something this big.
This is a hard no. I don't think she's anywhere near married. And I can't say he is too, because that's
You
the
don't
problem
know.
when when they pair you with someone whose maybe issues are more abundant, it's hard
Mm-hmm.
to understand maybe what the other person's issues are.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone will have issues, but with her, no, she's not ready. And it comes out more in this episode.
Like a blaring red flag for her. Whereas
Yes.
him, we're like, maybe red flag.
And this is just a small detail too. He brings up the Matrix and Keanu Reeves, and I'm just like, Courtney.
How old is she? 25?
She's 28, and I don't know. He seems to be in tune with reality TV, pop
Culture.
culture. So this is where I'm also seeing there's aside from the physical affection, there's a disconnect in even what these people are into.
There's a disconnect in even what she is into. Like, remember her saying, well, everybody's like, she was there January 6th, but
Oh,
her
she was
saying
there.
how conservative she is. And she's like, well, remind me what happened. So, like, you're just, all you know is weightlifting? Like, that's all you know? Okay.
Yeah, but I bring that up because he mentioned Jim Carrey before. He's done these reality TV. He's really into movie,
Yeah.
film, and so he's trying to vibe with her and have a conversation. And I said, "Girl, this confirms you're the boring one a bit. Like you have no
Nothing to
reference."
talk about.
Yes, you're saying he's boring you, but when he's bringing up things, you never heard of the Matrix?
Well, I'm
Okay.
trying because I'm like, oh, as a millennial, maybe these are millennial things. He's not that much older than her. He's 30,
No.
31.
No.
So yeah, no. Uh,
But it's important because she's the one complaining about how they have nothing to talk
talk
about.
about, yeah.
Girl, get
Not
locked
enough
in with
culture.
the culture, pop culture,
Mhm,
whatever,
mhm.
so you can have stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I agree. This was the episode where she said, "Oh, if I could just have someone love me for me and see me for me, that would mean so much." But then she's blocking people from seeing her, right? Like she's shutting down, not sharing emotion. So nobody can see you for who you are and then love you because you're not letting them see you. And even if in a situation like this, they commit to you first, you're
Hmm.
still not giving them anything. And so, what do you want? This should be a good situation for you. And even then, you're struggling. So, she needs to talk to the lady.
Yes,
Okay.
immediately.
They do the gym together. And then, gosh, this is another thing. I don't think he was trying to initiate physical touch when he does this.
No, she needs a lift up to the pull-up bar.
And she's like, he says, "Hey, do you need me to help you up?" And she's like, "I don't really like
PDA.
PDA. I don't like PDA in the gym." Girl, do you need help or not? Like, can I help you or no? Like, I'm not trying to do PDA. I'm trying to get you to do your little pull up so we can head out.
Just every little thing. She's definitely nitpicking.
And then, of course, she's like, "But yes, if you could help me." Okay, so girl, just say yes next time. Like, I'm not trying to fill up on you at this gym. Be for real. Okay. They drive to Oregon to see her family, and they have this conversation. This whole family visit, I think, was just eye opening. I hope she watches it back and sees herself being the issue, maybe. But
But on the road,
on the
she brings
road.
up this conversation on,
Mhm.
oh, how do you feel about moving to Oregon? And what about this? What? Now all of a sudden, she needs to plant her roots in Oregon when she has kids. And he's like, yeah, I'm not moving to Oregon.
First of
Like,
all, he doesn't even live in Seattle. He doesn't even live
well,
in
aside
Washington.
from that, say he did, but
Right.
if you go on a show in Seattle, you'll probably meet someone in Washington. So
Hmm.
that tells me, if you're being honest, you shouldn't have even went on this show for this
Hmm.
season if it was
Hmm.
really that important for you
To
to
move
move
to
to Oregon
Oregon.
at
Mhm.
any point.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
for sure. And then I guess walking up to the door, she's like, "Oh, we're not going to hold hands because they'll make fun of us." Okay, if you're still worried about showing affection because someone's going to make fun of you, give it a few more years, I think. There's some maturing that needs to happen. All right.
girl.
Then they get to the house. Wait, sorry. She warns him, "Oh, my family might grill you, so just be prepared."
Oh yeah.
And then the family, they're like, "What's a grill?" They don't even, the family had no intentions of grilling him at
No.
all. In fact, what happens is she gets to the house and is trying to get her family to grill him.
These people just so happy to probably have someone around in a serious.
They're just regular, they were being hospitable.
What it made me think is when she was having these not serious long-term
Relationships.
things,
Hmm.
I don't think she was maybe bringing them around her family.
Hmm.
So they could have just been like, oh, this is like a first time of, and y'all are already married. So grill him on, like, these people are just like, girl.
It's more about getting to know him. Like, I think Caitlin's dad said, "Oh, I would like there to be a relationship." That's what they're supposed to
Mhm.
do. Now that you've married him and you've brought him around, they're trying to get to know him, and I think I think you'll get farther getting to know somebody and then pinpointing what's wrong than coming in hot with with grilling them with questions, because most people can give good answers.
Hmm.
They can
And
interview well.
this is not Love is Blind. It's not an engagement period where you're deciding.
Yeah.
You've already married this person. And so, very strangely, she corners her sister maybe not cornered.
Sister.
That, that's a strong word, but she's like, "Oh, you need to grill Nick on the whole Oregon, moving to Oregon thing." She says to her, "Nothing's wrong, but I just need you to dig a little bit deeper because if y'all don't like him, then I won't."
Yeah, and her sis was trying to figure out, what do you want me to ask this man? She's like, okay, well, like, is there depth? Is something missing? Like, what is it that you're feeling so I can try to fill in the gaps with my questioning? And she's like, no, nothing's wrong. She said, nothing's wrong, but I just want you to like figure it out for me.
Because if y'all don't like him, then I can't move ahead.
But if they do
Girl,
like him, you still can't move ahead.
you
So what are we
still.
doing here? And you know what I wonder? Because this is something that I think people learn in their 20s. There could be, she could be feeling something off about
Hmm.
Nick,
Which is warranted.
which is warranted. And I don't care if he presented perfectly on this show. It could always be warranted. If you feel
Hmm.
something off about somebody, you have to trust your gut. But I think she's trying to get other people to pinpoint what it is that's wrong with him for her. And honestly, they might not see it because they don't have your intuition. They're not in your shoes. So if
Hmm.
you feel like, hey, this is just not working for me, even if you don't have the words for it, I guess on maths you do have to have the words for it. Like in the
Hmm.
in the real world, I could just be like, there's something about him I
Hmm.
don't like and move on with my life, right? But on
Hmm.
maths, the experts are probably going to require you to give them a reason. But I just want her to be able to discern if this is just not it for you, you don't think you're connecting with him, say that. Don't be like, oh, if you give me more, then there will be a spark. Because once he starts giving you more and there's no spark, then what?
Yeah. And your family can't decide that for you. So,
Mm-hmm.
girl, you're not 16 asking for your parents' help. Like, and I'm all for it. Like, we
Your
all want our
community.
family and friends to be somewhat approving of our partner, but that's the work you have to do. And if they do it right, they'll give themselves time to just observe this person. And
And
that's
she
it.
was so at the end of the night, Nick was actually kind of funny. Like when someone asked her for the knife and the way she handed it over, he was like, "Whoa, okay, I'll move to Oregon." Like this is the type of stuff that makes the family like him. But at the end of
Hmm.
the night, she was so disappointed when her family liked him.
Well, because they do bring up the Oregon thing, but her mom says, well, Courtney can be a little rigid and it can be hard to be in that environment with her. So the family already knows some of these things. They don't seem to be pressed about her moving back to Oregon because she's probably been living in Seattle for a minute. So,
Yeah, when they told her there's nothing wrong with him, she was like, I mean, you guys probably aren't seeing it. You're not with him 24/7, so that's probably why you're not seeing it. And then she's like, and they're also not asking the hard questions. So there's that. Okay, girl, you ask the hard questions.
she don't have none.
She doesn't even know what they are. She wants her family,
Mm-mm.
she wants everybody to do the work. She wants her family to figure out what the hard questions are for her, ask him, get the answer, and then decide based off of his answers if he's the right fit or not. But like this whole process requires you to put yourself in that situation. Anyway, I
And
just
she
thought it was
wants him to break down the barriers.
yeah. Anyway, that's it
Okay.
for them for this episode.
Yes.
And then we have Sean and Nikki, who I guess we're supposed to be calling it quits, but then they didn't because they came and talked to the experts. But they came and sat down with Paul, and
Mm-hmm.
Nikki was saying how she thinks Sean is here to win and keep up appearances because she
Nikki.
looked ridiculous. She was like, "Oh, now he's home." Sorry.
Nikki, you're here to win. You didn't want to look like a fool.
I forgot she said that. Anyway, Paul sits down with them and he's like, well, how satisfied are you in the marriage? She said 2. And this is where I was like, is Shaw trying to keep up appearances? Because he said 7.5.
But you know what? I could believe him.
Mm.
I think because he's this person, he's like, you know what? I move on the next day.
Glass half
He's all
full.
about, yeah, he's like, keep myself in good energy, keep myself grounded. He's not holding on to all of these little tips. Mind you, we've said that she's overreacting. Like it's a lot of conflict, but if you look at it individually, you can't, not including the attraction thing. He's attracted to her. So for him, he's like, well, we could just talk this out and move forward. So I'm not shocked by him being a 7.5. He likes what he's looking at. He knows that the individual conflict is not anything huge. It's huge to her.
You're right.
So he's like, okay, the next day comes. Even their body language, he automatically was turned into her. And she was just kind of like sitting at an angle as far as she could without being awkward.
That is so funny. So one of the reasons why I was like, oh, okay, is he? I agree with you, and I see your point. But one of the reasons why I was like, maybe he's not trying to keep up appearances, but not
Hmm.
being 100% truthful is because for any relationship, this has not been a 7. And it definitely hasn't been a 7.5. Like the point 0.5. But yeah, I can see what it
He
is that you're
he
saying.
strikes me as kind of how Emem was. You
And
remember how like all of those things were happening, and we're like, Emem, no.
where
The
he's just
people
happy to
that
be here.
Yes, they're like he said, I came in committed no matter who was there.
Yeah,
For him, he got someone who he deems is very attractive. So
fair.
for the people with that mindset, you have to pull them back from the ledge and be like, no, this is
Mm-hmm.
not it. Run.
Okay.
So even for Emim, we saw how crazy it was, but she was still all in and willing to give it a
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I see them as mirror energies in that
Mm-hmm.
aspect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think in Nikki's head, she would probably think, "Oh, he was trying to make me look bad because I said a 2." And it's like, okay, girl, I need her to get out of her head.
But I say, Nikki, if you're at a 2, why are you still on my
Still here.
screen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so. They come and Paul says something about, "Oh, I want you to reframe a statement that she said or something."
Hmm.
And then he pointed out to her how quickly she shifted from saying how something made her feel to blaming him. And I think that's
Hmm.
been one of the things that I've hated to see
Yes.
when it comes to the Nikki and Sean relationship is that it's always him, even when he comes back and really models conflict resolution or like wanting to progress and move the
Hmm.
relationship for whatever. Uh, it always is blaming. And so I appreciated Paul calling her out on that, and I hope she does better.
Yes. I think she just, as he said, needed to reword it. So focus
Mm-hmm.
on how it's making you feel. I think he used the word impact. She says that she doesn't feel valued. Then Sean chimes in and he says, I'm not trying to win. I just want to be heard. He relates some of the way that he's reacting to his childhood, being the youngest. And Paul is like,
You gave a dissertation.
yeah, you got to do better than that. But I understood what he was saying,
Oh, for
but
sure.
it wasn't necessarily maybe the right time or context. He just needed to acknowledge what she said.
Yeah, he was, when they say you were listening to respond, not listening to hear,
Hmm.
that's those two. And I think after a day or so, Sean can listen to hear, but Nikki
Hmm.
absolutely cannot, or has
No.
not shown that she can.
Yes.
All right.
Uh, Sean shares he doesn't feel like he has the space to be vulnerable with her.
Mhm.
And talking about their future and how they would be of support to each other. She admits that she hasn't created that space. And then Paul says that there are three bases for most arguments: closeness, power, and respect. He says it's typically the root, and he challenges them to rate their relationship every day. Shockingly, Nikki says she's committed to making it work.
Yeah. Should be that shocking. I mean, what else she gonna do? She signed up for the process. Nothing else has worked. Might as well lean in. And Sean also isn't like he's just not the worst person, right? Like
No, he
she could
isn't.
have
But the way she's reacting,
yeah.
I'm up until this point, I'm like, girl, unless you're doing a hard pivot as well,
Mm-hmm.
then at this point, I'm like, okay, well, how much are you willing to make it work?
Yeah.
So,
So she got him some whiskey, she cooked him
hmm
dinner, and and then I appreciated those things. She said something like, "Oh, I want to defer to you as the leader in our relationship." I have thoughts on just that in general, but
hmm you don't think she should feel like she could defer to him, or she
oh no,
shouldn't?
he's gonna be he's I think a great leader. Like I told you,
Hmm
was it last week? I think if someone could lead in like humility and
hmm
can lead in, hey, it's us against the problem, or how do we move forward? I think so. I think he can definitely be. I think a lot comes with saying that, and people should probably be clear about specifically what they want to be led in.
mm
And it's also okay to want a partnership where it's not like, oh, you're the default leader. I just wonder
hmm
if that's what Nikki actually wants. I think it's something that's popular to say online and just
hmm
in real life, really. But I just think people need to be very for real about what they mean with that, be on the same page about what that means with their
Yeah.
partner. Yeah.
It is interesting that she said that too, just given their ages and the way
Yeah.
that they've been operating for almost the first 50 years of their life, that like now would be the point where, and I'm not saying she couldn't
Hmm.
want someone to step up and lead,
Yeah.
but it is definitely an interesting concept given where they're both starting this relationship.
I
In
think they
fact,
need to
that's,
be specific. Like,
yeah.
what does that look like to her and him?
Yeah, she finally says, we both have big egos. They're connecting on their shared experiences of being black and underestimated. She says it's fuel for her. She says that the things that have served them to get ahead need to be left at the door. And she says, I'm safe. You're safe. I got you. And I said, oh, there's a whole new Nikki.
I appreciate her saying the thing is, I just want her to be consistent. I want her to now act it out.
Be a body.
Yeah, that's where, and I like Nikki on this show. I think a lot of people would have cut and run from the beginning,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so
I'm
I
still
think
wondering why she's here.
yeah, and so I think it's really great of her to continue this process, and it's also great of him to be continuing. So I like them individually, but yeah, with her, I just need to see it in practice.
And I wonder, was it the conversation with Paul that is helping her towards this revelation? Like, what did she talk to one of her girlfriends? As
Hmm.
you said, her modeling it will be a whole other conversation. But even in what she was saying, I'm like, that's a big, I feel like, jump from where she was before.
Hmm.
So how did we jump there? I'm just
I
curious.
think she's willing genuinely, but I don't mean.
Okay. Okay.
That's just me. But
Okay.
yeah, I just hope when they say no at decision day, because I don't think this is gonna be a yes. I just hope it's under pleasant terms. And I don't know if you've seen the internet has been talking about Sean and saying how he is and things like that.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't. I hope everybody lands in a soft space after this experience.
So I'll tell you one of my potential theories is maybe she did some reflecting in how that dinner went with the couples.
And how she made herself look crazy.
And she may have gone back to the drawing board of, oh, you're playing chess. I was playing checkers. I'm going to move accordingly through the rest of this process.
Okay, so you don't think she's genuine?
No, I'm not saying that she isn't. I'm saying that's one of my potential theories of
Okay.
why her language, like, I mean, she was all in on, oh, baby, this is your fault.
Mm-hmm.
This is all you. So what's pushing for that shift? I can't say if it's genuine or not,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't be shocked if she took some time and was like, you know what? I'm going to have to show up differently
Yeah.
going forward
Mm.
just to get through
To
this.
pivot. Yeah.
Hmm.
Fair. Well, smart on you, and I just want to see it continue.
Okay, Michelle and Cameron.
Yes. Okay. So they talk about math and then finances.
Hmm.
So apparently she liked math in school. There was it pottery that they did some activity with the
Yeah, it's
hands.
like a painting,
Yeah,
pottery.
painting pottery.
Um,
So she casually says, I had asked the experts for someone who makes 150. And he was
mhm,
like, well, I don't make that. I'm not there. He
mhm,
said there are things that could happen, like I could get a promotion, I could move schools, but there's no guarantee that that's an amount that he would make.
mhm,
So he was a little turned off by the fact that she wanted someone who made 150. He
mhm,
talked about some of the jobs he worked after getting out of the league, I guess jobs that would have gotten him to
mhm.
that amount, and says that I guess they kind of sucked the soul. Like it wasn't what he wanted to
Yeah,
do.
he didn't like it.
He
Yeah,
didn't like it. And so he was a little turned off that she put a number on things.
because he said he would never do that.
He would never do that. And I wrote down this quote: I think it can be emasculating sometimes for men because they're brought up to think that they need to be the breadwinners. And so it is awkward to talk about.
Yes. Yeah. I
What do
mean,
you think about this conversation?
uh, I don't know. She said 150. I don't know if that puts him on par with her. He never confirmed what his income was, at least on camera. I'm sure they've talked about it off camera. And so I wonder if it was a thing for her where it was, hey, I want this amount, but I'm flexible. Her response seemed as though she was okay with it. Like she wasn't pushing back too much. But then again, how she's presented herself, I didn't expect it to happen that way on camera, anyways, even if she did.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I also, yeah, I do remember there being a lot of talk around
Nikki.
Nikki and her expectations on salary. So it was nice to hear that, okay, she wasn't the only one who came in with these. I think they all discuss it. It's just what's being shown.
It was also a choice not to show that and to
Yes.
show it when it came to Nikki.
So I was happy to see the conversation happening with another couple, different cultural background. Um, hmm.
It was a choice to do. I'm so sorry, but that was quite the choice to show that conversation happening with Nikki, but not that conversation happening with Michelle. Like, if we can be very real. Um,
You wouldn't count them showing this conversation right
no,
now?
no,
Oh,
for sure.
oh,
But
okay.
I'm just saying, like in the beginning, showing
Oh, the first
Nikki,
couple
and I
episodes.
don't know, I don't know if this comes up with Nikki and Sean.
That
Maybe
was the other thing. It hasn't come back up.
it hasn't. So that's why I'm like, okay, I want to see how this plays out. Like
Hmm.
maybe because with Sean, they were asking him questions like, "Oh, have you ever dated someone?" I don't know, but I just think it strikes me as weird that they
Hmm.
presented a conversation of Nikki being opposed to this, having like a more rigid reaction to this. And then we see Michelle's conversation with Cameron later on. So we don't know if in the interview with the experts, Michelle was rigid. We
Yeah, we
don't
don't
know.
know.
We don't know. We didn't get an opportunity to see that. But what we do see is a situation where she finds out and she's handling it in a way that is more accepting than Nikki before she even knew her person. I don't like the
Yeah.
optics of that. And I
Okay.
think if I were in an editing room, I would think twice about not showing the full story
Mm.
for Michelle, because again, there are people watching this show. There are people from different backgrounds, and certain topics are sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't present something that fits into a stereotype for one ethnic group or someone from one, ethnic background, and then
Mm-hmm.
not, yeah, I just, I don't like the optics of it. And it could be that Michelle did say, oh, I'm flexible. Where, mind you, Nikki was also flexible. Like she started at
Mm-hmm.
250 and ended
Yeah,
up
she was
at
flexible.
200. But I don't love the optics of that. And I just think if you're in an editing room, these are things that you have to negotiate.
Yeah. I also think too, what helps Michelle, I think, get maybe past the whole 150 thing is that she's met this person, there's chemistry there. So yeah, it would be have been interesting to see if, there wasn't the chemistry and he wasn't as tall and all the things. So
Yeah, even
I
more reason why
it's
they should have shown it in her talk with the experts,
yeah, hindsight
because she
is
didn't know the person, right? And
mm-hmm.
I also like feel like we got to hear the reasons why Nikki wanted that. One, like she's done the thing that Michelle is doing right now, where she's been around people or dated people. She said people, right? So I'm guessing more than one, right? At least if
Yeah.
we were to be grammatically correct. But we saw her reasoning for not doing that. Like even when I have made the effort, they still feel a certain way, right? And so
Hmm.
I
And Michelle alluded to that as well. I think she was saying
when
how, yeah, I think she said when they were in the apartment scene, something about how it can be emasculating for men. I do remember her saying something like that.
but she didn't say that she had experience with it. So I think what I'm
No,
saying
no
is,
experience, but I think she acknowledged like when men
oh,
are making less,
we
like,
can all acknowledge that. But what I was saying is, I would have liked to hear her reasoning for why she said the 150, right? If she were talking to the
mm-hmm,
experts earlier on and they did venture into this conversation about, oh, why 150, or why wouldn't you be open to something less, or even if they even
mm-hmm,
had that conversation with her, I would have loved to hear what her reasonings were, not because of the whole optics thing, but now that we're here, I want to know, is it that there are certain goals that she has that she's hoping to
mm-hmm,
accomplish? And then maybe with whatever Cameron
mm-hmm,
is making, like they can still meet those goals. It might take a little bit longer, or it might require some certain
mm-hmm,
sacrifices. Like I think if we're gonna have the conversations, let's have the conversations and see like
mm-hmm,
what was her reason. Was it just, oh, I just, it's vogue, it's in vogue to
mm-hmm,
ask people to make more than you, or I just want him to make more than me because that's how we expect men to be. Was it those types of
mm-hmm.
reasoning, or are there valid reasons,
Yeah.
that she had? I mean,
Well,
everything's
well,
valid,
they're
right?
all valid. You can want
Yeah,
what you
right.
want.
Whatever your reason is, it's valid. I'm just saying I would have loved to hear what her valid reasons were.
Yeah. I think it was in the apartment. She says she understands. She works in tech recruiting and that they do play more than most places and that the money that you make doesn't always equate to how hard of a worker you are, your ambition. He says that it can be a little emasculating. I think it was the part where they were cuddled up on the couch and yeah, he was feeling a way about it. Yeah.
That's his right. He said, even if she says, oh, I don't see you as less masculine, I still feel crappy about it. Yeah, and it's not his fault. It's, the society we live in, fortunately. Um,
Yeah. Well, they
so,
cuddle it out, at least in that scene. I don't know.
yeah, she says, I feel like I need to adjust my expectations. I'm probably valuing certain things, and that's on me. And we'll see how it, again, that's why I want to know, okay, so why were you valuing those things, and what are the expectations that need to be adjusted? Like what were you hoping to accomplish with a partner who made whatever number you said,
Hmm.
and how is that possible? But again, like I think when it comes to money, like we're just talking about this because it's a show, but I think each
Hmm.
couple just has to decide what works best for them. And they
Oh
don't
yeah.
usually, like, they don't owe anybody outside of it an explanation. I just think it was a choice to edit
Yeah.
something like that the first episode and then not show.
I wish Nikki would have never shared with them in as much detail how much she was making.
But she's trying to make it on the show, and she gave them $100,000 range.
Range.
So
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
would you have said? Less than 500? Like, I mean, she had to give them a range. She's trying to
Yeah.
get chosen for the show.
Yeah, Mavs is just not it. They're, for that level, I just don't think Mavs is it.
Yeah, yeah,
Because those contemporary people are not on Mavs at
yeah,
that level. I'm
yeah.
not talking 150, 200. Typically, I'm
Hmm.
saying, yeah, at a certain point, yeah, they're not coming on Mavs.
Yeah, especially in her age range.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so Cameron talks about how he's going to be going back and forth to Portland. They,
And at this point, I said, oh, I think this is going to work in their favor.
for decision day.
Hmm.
Okay, but not necessarily like in their favor long term.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know beyond that. I'm just saying, like, oh, him being gone for a couple days, coming
Yeah.
back, them having that little bit of space. And she was like, oh, I wonder if it'll help the heart grow fonder. I think it will be good to have some
Mhm.
space, especially being cooped up.
Especially
Yeah.
with someone who is used to his independence and doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily, yeah. I think that's possible. They talk about communications expectations, which I think is great. Okay, Michelle, all right. If this were a man who had done this, which I'm not always the person who's like, oh, well, if this were the other way, because obviously we're socialized differently, but in this
Hmm.
case, you texted somebody 25 times in a row with no response from them. How long ago was this? I need to know. Was it your last relation? Like, what is going on here? And so she talks
Yeah,
about
yeah, we don't know.
something. Yeah,
Was it the one she was almost engaged to?
yeah. If we're gonna pick up on Cameron's red flags of not wanting to be committed, we're just not gonna let you rush past that. Like 25. I don't even know if like five for me would be too much.
Child one.
Five is plenty, okay? Five is in abundance. So, yeah. Anyway,
Mm-mm-mm.
also I would have taken that to the grave. I wouldn't have said that on maps. Anyway, but yeah, so we'll see how that pans out. Beljalie and Mecca in their
Hmm.
session with Dr. Lisa.
Yes.
All right, the attraction came up. He acknowledged that he shouldn't have asked that question.
Hmm.
Good. He said that he has kissed her forehead and cheek.
Yeah, like you would your little buddy. Yeah, I can't pinpoint Mecca. Is it self-sabotage? Is he just not that into her? I don't know.
I think he just doesn't know how.
Doesn't
Like,
know how. Yeah.
I'm not saying that's all it is, but I think that's a huge part of what's going on here. Like, that he's immature, he's
Hmm.
inexperienced, and he has all the issues that have come up, you know?
Yes.
But yeah, but heavy on the immature and inexperienced.
Yeah, he does bring up, I think it was later, how he has a bit of sexual anxiety. It's
Mm.
hard for him to initiate things with a new partner, worried about performance. So I think that there is more there. I don't want to just label this as like, oh, he's not into her, he doesn't like her, I think she's beautiful. I think it's maybe more complicated than that.
Because he said there's been a time where he was all in and the other person wasn't so much. So I think he's like tiptoeing into this. He's not willing to go all in. It's like, okay, well, I want to
Hmm.
show you, but then I want to pull back a little bit. And I think that's why he was so concerned when she didn't seem to be going all in. Because it's
Hmm.
like, okay, what's going on? She's not going all in. Am I supposed to go all in? Like, what is, you
But
know?
when you had her, she came in all in.
Yeah. And so with someone more mature, sure, I think it's like, okay, I'm going all in. If this
Hmm.
doesn't work, it doesn't work,
Yeah.
and then I'll just move on with my life. But for
Yeah.
him, I think it's deeper than that. So I think it's a bunch of things. But I do think he likes her. I don't know that he should be somebody's husband right now.
No. No.
But I love Belle. It seems like she is
Yes.
such a I would want a Belle for I don't know my son or whoever. Like I don't have a
Hmm.
son. I don't have a daughter either. I don't have anything. But like I'm just saying the way that she's caring, but also has her standards. I think that's a good
Yes. I think she's handling this with a higher level of maturity than most people her age. They would be as soon as it was like, "Oh, you're not into me, I'm not
yeah.
holding any more space for
Yeah.
you." But she is keeping an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think she also senses, oh, I don't know if is wounded the right word.
I think so. Yeah.
I think she can sense the woundedness in him. And after experiencing some of his family dynamics, I think it's making sense for her
Mm-hmm.
as to like how we maybe got here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying that's for her to fix though.
It's not, and that's the dilemma for me because she's great, but I would want her to be great with someone who's more ready.
Yes. Because something she says later, I'm like, oh, she can't put all her effort into healing him. She
Mm-hmm.
has her own things that she
Yes.
needs to heal from as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, Marissa and Adam. So Marissa talks about how she loves her home. She takes him to her home. She says she loves her space, but she's afraid that it might be a little over underwhelming for him because he lives in the playground.
Yeah.
Then she asked where he would want to live if this worked, and he pretty much said, "Not in your place,
Yeah.
not
You
here."
coming to the lake. Yeah.
Okay, said, "Come to the lake." And so I felt like, okay, is Marissa just agreeing to stuff because she's like, okay, I don't know what I want. And she said I could maybe do the lake, and this she didn't say this to him. She said this in the
Mm-hmm.
confessional. I could maybe do the lake for a year, which shows her like just willingness to make things work, which I like about
Mm-hmm.
her. But I don't know that I could do that forever. However, I don't know what's next. And so I think like her not knowing what's next could potentially lead to him being the one who's driving where they are and then her waking
Mm-hmm.
up and not being content with that someday.
Yeah, and I don't know, just looking at the way she's currently living, how her apartment is,
So cute.
it is very cute, very well put together. It's one of those things where I go back to, I just want her to be her authentic self and what she
Yeah.
wants. Even if you're figuring it out, you have to be realistic about the current lifestyle you're living, be able to predict a little bit around what you would want. He already had plans for, oh, I want to save up and buy another sick lake house, and he's,
Right.
he's he's already progressing forward with what he wants, and I see this as a thing of her folding into whatever he wants and
Hmm.
needs.
And she's naming that right now. So I just hope that she remains in tune with those feelings and doesn't just get swept into his plan, because even if you don't know where you want to go next, you know where you don't want to go next. And so if that's the only sure thing you have, that needs to be communicated. I don't want to be
Yeah.
in the lake house after a year, so we're going to have to figure out a place that at that point of my life I'm okay with being in and that also
Hmm.
works for you.
And even the standard of the lake house, like, yes, you're on the lake, but the way their homes are is just very different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Be for real.
Be very for real. All right. Okay, so episode 9.
Hmm.
Ooh. All right. Let's see if we could get this done. I this episode I didn't love.
Okay.
Okay, so but we start out with Belle Jolie being open to going to clean the porta potties with Mecca. I said she is one of one. She makes everything more joyful. She's so positive and such a light.
Hmm.
And Mecca, whatever maturing you got to do, you better do it tonight. Do
Quickly.
it tonight because this girl is one of one.
Ain't no way. I would just have to hear about how your day went when you got home.
And to go and show up and maintain a positive attitude and to do things and be happy about it, like, Belle, I mean, just She is a
And you
delight.
know, one thing I will say, Belle is not giving I'm folding into him and what just saying things to
No.
make him happy and comfortable. I'm not getting that vibe from her.
Mm-mm.
I think this is genuinely how she is.
Yes. Which is why she's
Versus,
such a gem.
yeah, versus Marissa, I'm like, girl, is this really you?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, she seems more like passive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So they talk about how they've been intimate. Okay.
hmm
Okay. Woo. And then they meet his grandmother, Victoria. Victoria, I think.
Which, by the way, Grandma, where?
Seriously, that's his mom. Well, obviously it's not his mom.
Yeah. But she looks amazing.
Yes, she looks
Like to
great.
be grandma.
I said, not her
Well,
hugging the grandma in her porta potty clothes.
the grandma might be used to it. This
She
is a
probably is.
lucrative family business.
Didn't that make you happy to hear
It,
that?
yes.
The only hold on black owned porta potty company in the Pacific Northwest.
Love to hear it. And she's talking about how they would love to pass it on to the
Mm-hmm.
children and grandchildren. She was asking Belle, like, okay, you have any experience in like office work, administration stuff?
And Belle's willingness to be like, yeah, actually, I
Yeah, I
do.
could
Because
learn.
some people would be like, stop trying to
Find
fit me into
somebody
your
else.
plan, right? And Belle's just like, oh, yeah, I do this. And
I
yeah.
would be like, how lucrative? Okay, I'll be in here filing paperwork.
When you want me to start? Tomorrow? No, but it was just a beautiful thing to see. And I
hmm
remember Mecca at the beginning talking about, oh, this is a family business. So it's always nice to see that people want to stay in their family business and
hmm
continue the legacy.
Yeah.
I'm happy that he did this show. I'm happy that she did this show. Whether they
hmm
end up together or not, I hope they end up on a good note. And I'm rooting for her and for him
Yep.
separately or together.
Love to see it.
Yes. Okay. And then we get a little bit more of Adam and Marissa before we do group therapy.
Okay.
All right. So Adam, we find out, has been in therapy for 10 years. Maybe should stop it. Uh, and so she's questioning how serious he is. And I heard
hmm
it when she said, oh, are you going to take group therapy seriously today? Because she sees the unseriousness in him.
Yes.
And I think she's ready to move past that, but she doesn't want to be the one who's forcing it. Like,
Yeah, to
I think
push
she
it.
understands, oh, I have to take this. I have to be patient with this and wait. Or
hmm
that's how she sees it. Okay. And then he leaves the house with his shirt wide open, going to meet the experts. And she said, I just love that you're yourself. Do you? Because this is the type of stuff that later on down the road becomes an issue, where it's like, oh, I used to love that. I used to love that he was just himself, and now he's just clowning.
The edit we get never shows Marissa challenging him or pushing back or asserting her opinion about what he's doing in any capacity, which is just not believable to me. Like, it's believable, but maybe I don't want it to be believable. Like, this is crazy. I guess there are people who operate this way,
We're just
but
agreeable.
I guess I'll be difficult. Okay.
Okay, so then they have group therapy.
Give
Leah,
us your thoughts. What are you thinking?
hate it. Hate it. I hate it so bad because I think MAFS is already requiring you to be your most vulnerable self in front of your
Mm,
new partner who you just met. And now you're asking me to do this not only in front of my new partner, but in front of the experts who are new professionals in my life and
hmm
these other couples. And you casted like 7 couples this season. So 6 other
Oh yeah,
couples.
it's a lot.
I don't appreciate it from a like healthy long-term relationship standpoint or from an individual. Like I would shut down in this and then be like, oh, this is a truth-telling session. So
Mm,
we know there's some heavy hit, like we know they're about to bring out the big guns. I hated it from the beginning. And then when they started with Adam and Marissa, okay, Adam, they were checking him on how he came in like a clown,
Wow.
because he came in with his shirt wide open, and then once he gets in front of the experts, that's when he's like, "Oh, let me button this up." You knew you had to button it when you were outside. You knew
Attention seeking.
attention seeking, right? And so they called him out on it. Do I love that it was in front of everybody? No. Cool. That's one thing. But forcing Marissa to share something as vulnerable as her dad's situation, when
Hmm.
she had only shared that with the experts, she hadn't shared it with Adam yet. Now, not only does she have to share it with Adam on the spot, but now everybody else is hearing about her dad stuff. I almost turned it off. If we didn't have to do this review, I
Yeah.
probably would have stopped watching at that point.
I think for me, what I don't understand is we have the expert sessions with them all as individual couples. The only reason you're bringing them all together is what? So that they can ask each other questions. But none of these people know what they're doing. They're not therapists, they're not counselors, they're not relationship experts. So,
They might as well be doing reviews like me and you. Like they don't know
yeah.
nothing. We don't know nothing either.
And so, to me, if anything, like them asking each other questions, like that was the part I really didn't like. Like, okay, if y'all really need to
No.
have this communal session, fine. But what threw me was when people started interjecting. But I'm like, the experts are sitting right there. Why are y'all asking? Why are,
Who's
yeah,
getting
that
paid?
part I
Who's
didn't
getting
get.
paid to be the experts? Is it us or is it y'all? Yeah, I didn't like the level of vulnerability that it required from her. Like that's the type of stuff that stains people for life. It's already uncomfortable talking about it on TV. It's uncomfortable talking about it with new professionals, my partner, and now all these other people get to know that part of me. Like I mean, I also don't like to be known, so that could be a thing.
Yeah,
And
you were
these
pretty
things,
private.
right? But it just that didn't seem mean to y'all. Let us know in the comments. That seemed very
Like,
mean to me.
I, it was unnecessary to do it in that format. I think also what makes it triggering is if you're paired with a person who, if they see you took it to that level of vulnerability, if they were serious, they may take it there as well. So then they switch to Adam, and then he talks about how he had these relationships where he was cheated on, he was in therapy. And I'm not saying that that's not serious enough, but it was also kind of something that he already shared with her.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in terms of depth of what she shared versus what he shared,
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of like, I get keep things close to the heart,
Yeah.
but that also let me know Adam is unserious and he's not going to reveal too much of himself and what he has going on.
Yeah.
So that's why I really felt for her because if I were her, I'd just be looking at him like, dang, I took it there and
She was literally weeping. Ugh.
this is what you come with. Yeah, but and I went to therapy for those relationships and I'm fine now.
Yeah.
Well, whoop de doo.
And then Michelle is easily becoming my least favorite person on this show because
Mm,
they switched to them,
hmm.
being interviewed, and Cameron says, I think Adam opened up a bit, and she said, "Really? When?" Okay, whatever. I mean, I'm not an Adam fan, so that could have been funny, but I think because she had already started rubbing me the wrong way, I was like, okay,
Yeah. I
ah,
mean, Paul did get on him about his deflection and
with
just how
huge
inappropriate it is
retaliation.
at certain times. So, in the totality of the sit down with Adam and Marissa, yeah, I wouldn't have said it, but yeah, he's unserious.
Yeah, and he was
But
reading.
Michelle doesn't need to posture herself as like having it all together and being that critical of other couples.
Because if
But
I'm Adam in that session, I'm not opening up either. I mean, because Marissa did, I might want to, but
yeah.
it's a very awkward setting to do that in, and it's mean. I think it's very mean to do the
Hmm.
sessions in this way. The dinners are one thing. Anyway, all right. So Cameron and Michelle were next.
Yeah, everything is going well. They talked about how awkward the finance conversation was, but they seem to move past
We
it.
can't get into the nitty gritty. Okay, well, Michelle, what are you going to do with those expectations now, right? How are you going to adjust to those
Girl, no, we're
expectations?
not getting into it.
Cameron, what does that mean for you? Are you going to try to take steps to get to that level, or like what? We don't get follow up questions with Michelle or Cameron in the way we get it with other people.
And then this was a bit off putting, but she's like, oh, yeah, he brought me back down to earth. So women who have expectations of XYZ are not on earth. Okay.
Yeah.
And they had sex. Okay.
Yes. So
I will say, I think they're going to make it. I think they'll be fine as a couple. I think what's getting interesting is how they see themselves versus the other couples, you know.
yeah, okay. So anyway, even if we could have gotten more into the awkwardness of the finances and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
that would have been cool. But we kind of just moved on.
Because they're setting them up, I think, to be the golden couple. Once they decide that, girl, you know the edit that they're going to get is
You know what's funny? I feel like in the last few seasons of this show and Love Is Blind, whoever they set up to be the golden couple, I don't really like that. Like remember,
mm,
yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna bring up people
okay.
from the past, but yeah, like
At this point, I think I still like them as a couple in that I think they probably will work out.
mm,
Because I'm trying to separate whatever editing and
mm-hmm.
how they choose to present them versus this is Cameron and how he's presenting what he has going on as a person, her as a person, how compatible they are, and if they'll make it. I think they'll make it. Um, and the editing part, I think, is its own separate thing. But I do think they shouldn't be feeling themselves so much that it's kind of like, okay, y'all got it together on the surface, but this is still
Yeah.
maths.
And to be fair, I'm not a hater, so I hope they make it, right? Like
Yeah.
especially considering, like age and things like that, what Michelle has to go through. So when I say I don't really care for them like that, I'm not wishing ill on them
No.
in any way. But like after this show, is this the couple who I'm gonna like follow online or be like, oh yeah,
No.
no. It's just not gonna be
Mm-mm.
that. So yes. All right.
And I'll add one last thing.
Uh-huh.
We don't know, like, because it's edited, we don't know how, and we don't know how this is going to end. And even her processing the whole finance thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is still a TV show.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's not
TBD,
over.
TBD on
Yeah, they're gonna
how,
have a million more conversation. I mean, with any marriage, right, or
yeah.
relationship, they're gonna have a million more financial conversations. Some she'll be okay with, some she won't. So this isn't. It's like at the end of Cinderella, where it's like, oh, they live happily ever after. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
not that.
Mm-mm.
Life continues, and I hope they're able to work through everything. And I'm not a hater,
Yeah.
but it's just not something I care to be tuned in for. Okay,
Courtney and Nick. Is that who you have?
yeah, that's who I have.
Okay.
Okay, so Dr. Lisa said that Courtney was blocking and rejecting Nick. And then, she said it's just easier to have that flame at the beginning, but it wasn't there. Then Courtney starts crying again.
Hmm. WWTs are upon us.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that it's genuine, but I feel like it kind of inhibits us from moving forward on the real conversation. Just,
Like, do you think that'll spare us from addressing what the problem is? And then you saw, okay, they talk about more things, but I want to say, did you see how quickly the tears dried up when it then switched to Nick being the
Mhm.
problem? Because she just needed an amen choir.
And I'm good at spotting these dry tears. Did y'all see any fall?
Not one. No, not one. No, not one.
Not a tear. Just it's giving telenovela. I'm sorry. I didn't see
Okay.
nothing fall.
Yeah. So Dr. Lisa asked her, "Oh, what happened that safety and intimacy go hand in hand?" And she just says she
Hmm.
she hasn't had the best like physical experiences with men. Like it's just you know, doing things with them because that's what they want to do or because she thinks they'll like
Mm-hmm.
her. And so it's like, okay, that's making sense, I
Mm-hmm.
think, with it, it's making sense in addition to she's not attracted. Like, you know how things make sense with Sean and Nikki or with Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it makes sense, but also we know you're not attracted to him. Like that's what's
Yeah.
going on here. All those things will come to play in whatever relationship she's in, but especially in this one because she doesn't have that spark.
Yeah. And I feel like could she also be rejecting him before he rejects her? I know at this point she's had to go through and maybe watch some of the perfect match and
Mm-hmm.
just peek around a little bit to see what he's been up to on reality TV. Anybody
Mm-hmm.
would.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. So they asked Nick now, what are your fears and vulnerabilities? And of course, he gave a good PR answer. He said,
mhm.
that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good
Mhm.
question. I don't think I've had time to really consider that. Like very robotic. And they're like, absolutely not. Because you're not about to hide behind Courtney. They said exactly what you said, when someone's problems are so much louder and so much
Mhm.
bigger, you just kind of, and he knows that. You stay
But
back.
with these experts, I call BS because they're trying to hold him accountable for being so polished and but we don't really know you. Why did you put him on here?
You knew reality stars know how to self edit.
So I can't call him out, but you knew this when you casted him. He don't even live there.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
So
Mm.
Courtney is so happy she has verbiage for what she's been feeling, and that
Mm-hmm.
people are showing a problem with Nick. Like she says, "Oh yeah, I feel like I don't really know him. It's so surface. It feels platonic." I know more about him than I know about you. Like
Yes.
I don't know. Well, maybe not now, not after this session.
He says that he tends to hide his goofy side. He has fears of being judged. Interesting. Michelle co-signs that he is goofy and he has goofy friends because they're connected in a friend group. I wanted to hear more on that. We haven't heard Michelle speak on the fact that she knows Nick outside of this.
Like such an investigator. We haven't gotten down to the bottom of this connection.
And has Michelle been sharing anything with Courtney? See, those that's
Talk?
no. How are we at episode 9 and this is just coming up?
Well, maybe
Okay.
like you said, they're positioning. I don't know. Okay, yeah. At this point, I wrote in my notes. See other people chiming in. I don't know, and it gets worse. Tori and Felipe.
Okay.
All right, so Felipe says they're good on paper. He thought he had already committed, but it's feeling like he has to commit every day, and so he's afraid. He's afraid of sabotaging because he's avoidant. I don't know. Every time somebody starts using therapy words, I'm like, oh god, what is about to happen here?
Now everybody's an avoidant. Everyone's anxious, this and that. Okay. Oh gosh. Dr. Lisa says, it's natural, it will plateau. Tori says it's scary, but she understands because she can be avoidant. So we have two avoidants together.
You see how she's giving Nick?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Nick was like, "Oh yeah, but I think it's concerning, but also because of her explanation, I don't feel a way about it." Tori is Nick, but like less reality TV.
Yes.
Okay.
Paul encourages Felipe to stay curious. Always learn about her.
Mm-hmm.
They bring up the distance after intimacy. She says she got worried. I think since then they have gotten intimate again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she hasn't been running. I don't know. Him bringing up the whole passion thing, I just think it was.
I would be concerned about him being about them continuing to be physical, and now him continuing to say the I'm afraid of passion running out, because it's like, hold on, she's jumped in both feet in, and now you're like, passion runs out.
And you're questioning if you can be monogamous. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so hard.
Yeah.
what about when I get bored or it's not new, it's not the beginning anymore?
And the thing is, like Tori saying, "Oh, I understand because I'm also an avoidant." You can
She
be
don't
the same
understand.
thing as another person, but at different levels. Like when I say to people, "Oh, I'm very much an introvert," but I might be connected to other people who are more introverted than I am or
Mm-hmm.
less introverted. And even for me, it can be a shock. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yes, y'all might all be avoidant, but don't discount that y'all could be avoidant in different ways and at different levels. And so his avoidant might not be your avoidant.
Yes, I don't think Tori is taking too kindly him continuing to reference his potential struggles with monogamy.
Hmm. But she ain't saying nothing, so I
Yeah,
don't
she's not
know.
saying that her eyes are.
Okay, fair. All right, now we're at Mecca and Beljolie. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I've been vocal about hating the group therapy, and this is where this for me after Marissa for sure, but then this was another point where I was like,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely not. Okay, so we hear, they share with the group that they've been intimate, Mecca and
Mm-hmm.
Beljolie, and then Paul says, Mecca, I feel like you haven't chosen Belle. Like she's chosen you, but you haven't
Mm-hmm.
chosen her. I wonder what the value of saying that is when she's already in her head and questioning his level of commitment. Like I wonder, I guess it's therapy, so you have to say those things, but I'm like, I don't know. Do therapists give opinions that way or do they ask questions to get you to the
Well,
he's not a
he's not a
therapist.
therapist.
And that
He's a relationship expert. So the
is the
way
problem.
he's going to ask questions is going to be different anyways, and it's TV. So I agree with you in that if she's already in that space, it's likely not ideal. But what I will say is he's vocalizing what she's been feeling. I think what he's witnessed, and then Mecca confirms it. So it's an unfortunate timing that the conversation is happening, but even with them being intimate, it is something to call out that there's still a block there for him. And unfortunately, this is playing out on international television.
And I'm not a therapist, right? But I just think maybe I feel like they're being reckless this season. Maybe I feel like
Mm.
the care is there to a certain extent, but not to its full extent. Maybe I feel like
Okay.
if you were going to have this conversation with Mecca, do an individual session. Like, I think that's the responsible thing.
I will say the line of questioning that Paul has, I think is much more focused and direct, and
Yes.
like his style is different than Pastor Kyle, Dr. Peppers. Cause like we would be like, ask this question, ask that question.
Fair.
Like their sessions would just be so, even though they were private, it's like we didn't even move forward here. Like, what was the
Yes.
point of this?
I think I just also am concerned because I don't know about you guys. I could see the struggle Mecca is having, and so
Hmm.
it feels reckless. That's the only way. That's the only way I can describe it. It's reckless. But
Yeah.
then they ask him, "Okay, do you feel deserving of love?" And
Yeah.
he said, "It feels good to receive it. I feel comfortable, but I don't know that I feel like I deserve it." Um,
Hmm.
okay, and then I don't like that they keep pushing on the daddy and mommy wounds because they're bringing that up for
Hmm.
Mecca again in a very group setting like they did with Marissa. And
Hmm.
so that sucked. But then Michelle chimes in, and this is where she lost me, y'all. This is where she lost me. But I'll be objective next week. I'll pull a
No,
Sean.
don't.
I'll, I'll do my best Dr. Best, meditating and resetting, and I'll be back next week with a clean slate. But yeah, this is where she lost me for sure.
I was shocked she said that in a group
What did she
setting.
say? Say what she said. Because I don't even want to repeat it.
Um, Let me see. Do I have it written down
If
exactly?
you don't have it, I have it. No, I'm just kidding. But
Um, So I think I wrote down for Paul calls out how him and Bill showed up very different
Yeah.
than at the dinner. Says that it was performative. Belle says it was authentic for me. Um, yeah, I don't think I wrote down what Michelle said exactly, but I know paraphrasing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You want to
yes,
say?
you
You
can
say.
paraphrase it.
No, you jump in. You ready?
No,
Um,
but I'm sure someone asked her to say this, I hope, but she jumps
yeah.
in and she said, yeah, Mecca, at the dinner, I felt like you really showed up so inauthentically. You know, it gave me whiplash when you guys were talking about how, you were saying she's just everything to you and you were speaking so highly of her, but then you guys hadn't been intimate and then you had the attraction question. So it gave me whiplash because I wasn't sure where you guys actually stood, and I just felt like it was exaggerated and it was performative. Why does her opinion matter here?
Yeah, and in a situation like that, like if I know my comrade is dealing with this situation, I wouldn't have said all that.
And may I just
As a
add,
woman, I would have
yeah,
said way less.
yeah, and we've seen Mecca on here. He is exaggerated. He is very goofy.
He has jewels on his teeth.
He like that's how he makes things, like goofy and funny. And so when he was saying, "Oh yeah, Beljolie is this," and I was like, "Oh, like she's this and she's that," and like
Hmm.
that is also a part of his personality. So I done showed y'all my good little personality, and you have the audacity to say to me, "Oh, it was exaggerated, it was performative." And then Belle Jolie, like, of course, feeling the need to defend him because they it was
Yeah,
a
they
lot.
were.
You're gonna bring up the fact that I didn't have a mom, which is a big thing for me, and I haven't even told the people in this room, but now they know, and now the spotlight is on me. You're gonna do all of that. So Belgia Lee is like, it felt authentic to me. Like this is similar to what we're seeing at our apartment.
Hmm.
But the thing is, their apartment is a safe space. He can be as exaggerated and as performative and
Hmm.
as whatever as he is, and it's just Beljolie there to receive it, right? Like, so to now feel like I'm in this process where I have to be vulnerable with this one person, but now I have all these eyes on me, people who I would hope would be supportive.
Hmm.
It didn't feel good as a viewer.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if I'm in that situation, even if I felt like it was, I wouldn't have said it.
And Courtney chimed in too and had something to say. I was like, now look here, I don't want to hear a thing from you, Miss Ma'am. If anybody should not
Yeah.
be talking,
Yeah, it's like the pot calling the kettle black. Girl, you have your own issues.
plenty of them. First of all, at least he's attracted to Belgium. You don't even know what attraction is. Like, I don't know. I didn't like that. The only person who, at least from the edit, who chimed
Hmm.
in was Devin, and he was like, I feel like there are certain things that are authentic to him. Like he just kind of made him feel seen and
Hmm.
broke down the pressure of this situation. But it I don't know if it felt like that in the room for them, and that's why Devin had to step in.
Hmm.
But I appreciated that. Also, I don't want to, and I know people's politics are different, but it feels different to hear
Hmm.
someone who's very clearly like MAGA be commenting on a black man. It does. It's
Hmm.
and I don't want that to be the case, but I didn't create this situation,
Hmm.
and so I think it's something that needs to be stated, especially when you have all these problems, and especially at least from what the edits have shown, we didn't hear you say anything about other people. There's
Mm-mm.
just a lot going on here.
What she asked, she was like, "Oh, are you ready to go all in?" And I'm like, "Are you ready to completely open up to your
The
partner?"
audacity of that question. The audacity of that
And
question.
Mecca, he was just sitting there like, "Okay, okay."
Oh, Miosha. It's just you know those people who can't stand a bully and feel like I'm like sometimes people in my like close circle have to be like, "Hey, calm down," because I don't like to
Yeah.
see people getting ganged up on, and that's how it felt.
And like I go back to Michelle and my girl, even if you felt that, why are you vocalizing it?
It's that, it's the edits too. Like, okay, so whenever you've edited other people chiming in, it hasn't been negative, right? Like we saw Michelle chime in for Nick to say, "Oh, I can vouch for him."
Mm-hmm.
But when we see the most conversation, if
Mm,
there somebody's not beating the allegations of how certain people from certain backgrounds are edited and appear on this show.
yeah.
Who anyway.
Yeah. And Belle calls it out. She was saying, that it felt like they were nitpicking him and just doing a bit much. And I agree.
Yeah, like when they got back to the place, she was like, I respect the expert, which she just says things so beautifully. Like you could sense her outrage, but she was still respectful and still like
Mm-hmm.
poised. But she said, I respect the experts and what they want to do, but when it comes to other people chiming in, I don't know. I don't feel good about that. And even
Yeah.
Becca said it. He said, I was really surprised that Michelle
Mm-hmm.
said that. And so, you know what? A part of me is like, this could not be true at all.
Mm.
And I'll take
Say,
it
say
back.
it.
But I think Michelle is very aware of appearances and would hope to be the star couple, right? Like, and it's not even like, oh, that she's intentionally doing it. I think there's just a way about how she presents herself, right? And
Mm.
how she sees herself. Like, oh, we're the couple who's older. We want to make sure we present this way, we lead this way. And so I think anybody who, I don't know, maybe she feels a way about certain couples getting like that type of or being seen as like the star couple or being seen a
Mm-hmm.
certain way. This could be completely off, but that's what that negativity kind of gave. Like, why are you
Mm.
the only time we see her speaking negatively about even Adam is later on outside of the group session, right? It's not
Mm.
in. Again, this could all be editing, right? This could all
Yeah.
be on that.
And Mecca seemed to be taken aback too because it seems as though even he
Yeah.
put her in a certain regard and
Yeah.
maybe how she's been carrying herself in person. So he's just like, whoa, I would have never expected that from her. So
And then when they
something ain't
get,
clean in the buttermilk.
yes, and then when Michelle and Cameron get back to their apartment, um, the first thing that she says from what we see when they get in is, I'm so glad Beljolie and Mecca had that moment because they needed it. And then it's Cameron who says, you kind of went in on them.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't just be us. Like he said, you kind of, did I write that down? You kind of went in on them. You said like, he said, you said like you were using all these big words. She said, well, I said
Mm-hmm.
they gave me whiplash. And he says,
Mm-hmm.
you were calling them out. Is that your place to call out another?
Unless production is feeding her.
But what, okay, they didn't feed her to say she had whiplash, and they didn't feed her to come back to the
Mm-mm.
apartment and start talking about it. Like the fact that Cameron spoke about it the way he spoke about it, right, says to me that she really was going in. And the
No, I
fact that,
think she really was going in.
yeah,
When I say feeding her, meaning like, hey, during the dinner or during the group
session.
session, ask
Mhm.
these questions, push. We really want to get to the root of things. Even when she comes back, she's like, oh, it just feels so good that they were able to have a breakthrough. Girl, you're not a therapist.
Right. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's why I had to applaud them because they had a breakthrough. Keep your applause. Don't,
um,
what do you mean? So, yeah, I didn't like it. I think these are 20 somethings. They have a lot of growth, right? That needs to take place.
Michelle is
Worry,
34.
okay.
Yeah.
Worry about the
Mind
40
her,
year
she can
old,
mind her business.
worry about the 40-year-old non-committal person you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, anyway, it's a
Okay.
lot.
You want to jump to Nikki and Sean?
Yes. Okay, so Nikki and Sean, she finally admitted that her tone was way sharper than it needed to be. She had a little too much dip on her chip. She was
Finally.
finally. The heavens opened and the angels were singing. She said, I didn't need to get that way. I don't ever really need to be that way. Thank you.
Finally.
And then Michelle and Karen, oh gosh, it's always them. All their answers are so contrived. It's hard for me to believe they'll make it.
That's for us to say on the internet, not for y'all to say. That's our job. You're in the experiment. It's like the Truman Show. Y'all are inside the bubble.
Yeah. Anyway, but nobody believed it. Nobody believed it. And I was like, okay, listen, Nikki and Shaw have had a rough time. If they're delusional today and they're happy, can they just let
Can
them
they
have
have that?
that? Y'all have had fun. Y'all have vibed. They don't have
Bye.
that. And they don't even have that. Let them have today, please.
Well, they both said they're at a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Mhm.
Sean is taking accountability for how he's handled the conflict.
Yeah.
He believes it's improving. Whether it's real or not, I'm just glad to have a break from the conflict with these two at
Please.
this point.
Please. We were begging at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, and now Caitlin and Devin. Whew.
Hmm.
So they are asking, they said they see that Devin has taken such a step back to fit into what Caitlyn needs that they
Hmm.
feel like his light has been dimmed.
And then they asked the group, "Do y'all think Devin is dimmed his light?" Yeah, he ain't the same. He been in the trenches with Caitlyn. Imagine, I mean, I'm no Caitlyn fan, but dang. Yeah, girl, it's you. You're the problem. You're the reason he's so dark.
Even said he's so committed to this that he's willing to do anything. And
Well,
then
somebody got to be committed because you ain't. You still trying to figure out if you could be monogamous. I'm sorry.
the sad part is we've talked for like 2.5 hours, so people aren't even gonna get to this.
I know.
Oh,
It's okay. We're having fun.
all right. So Caitlyn said, I don't know what y'all talking about, but whatever light has been dimmed, it needs to stay off. Actually, don't turn the light back on.
It's
Keep it.
comfortable over here.
This is what I need him to be. So
What did she say? Something about, dealing with anxiety. She needs someone to ground her. And he was right. Like, okay, that's fine, but another person isn't going to provide that for you. You need to ground yourself.
I
And he even offered to help her with certain things that could help with
grounding
that.
practices. Yeah, this man is all in. Listen, they need. She needs to wake up and hold on to him, or not, or just let him go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's such a sweetheart, and she's saying if y'all want him more boisterous, then that's your perspective, not mine.
One of my biggest takeaways from this conversation was first, it was the physical touch and
Yeah.
her being around him. Now it's more of also his personality and how he presents and how he was too much. I think at some point in this conversation, he dropped the word love bomb. I feel like sometimes people are using love bomb wrong.
Correctly.
I
Yeah.
don't classify this as love bomb.
Yeah.
I think he's almost too eager for accountability and putting label on things just to move forward.
What a
He's like,
delightful problem.
right. And I'm all for calling love bomb when it's that, but I don't think that this is it.
Yeah. He said he
It-
thought he would love bomb her and then that it'll, but I mean, yeah.
I don't see it. That's just me.
Anyway, so they go around and ask people if today were decision day, would you be a yes, no, or undecided? Everybody said they'd be undecided except for Tori and Felipe.
Hmm.
And wait, a few people. Tori and Felipe, Marissa and Adam said it would be a yes. And Michelle and Cameron.
Yeah, that's to be expected. Adam and Marissa, we know that's what that is, but
Yeah.
mm,
I'm still mad that they made my girl put her dad's business, like her daddy issues on full display like that. I don't like it at all. Anyway, so after this, of course, we've already talked about Michelle and Cameron afterwards, Bella Jolie and Mecca
Hmm.
afterwards. Uh, Nick is like, I think it's wild that anybody said they would say yes. We know, Nick. We know you think that. And I
I will
agree.
say Nick's personality comes out.
Yes. Yeah.
Like he had me laughing in his
He's
confessional
so
scene.
funny. I could see why her parents and her family liked
Hmm.
him. He's very I like that sense of humor. I do. I don't know how much she wants to see, but
I think the two ice queens need to go live happily ever after together.
because you know what happened after the session? Caitlin's like, "Oh, I need a massage." And
I give massages.
I could massage you.
No, a
Listen,
legit one.
wherever they have golden retriever in the book of dog breeds, his picture, because he really is. He's like, "Oh, I can give you a massage," and she's like, "No, I need
A
like
legit one.
a professional one." Okay, girl, let there be a massage. And
But
you,
then like he goes to embrace her. Did you see how she like tapped him away? I
she's
said this is
managing him. Oh,
it's just not a good fit.
yeah.
If he has to change his personality, not be as boisterous, like Paul said, the person should love more of you. And that's not that you can't make adjustments. Like we all make certain tweaks here and
Oh,
there
of course.
to be partnered, but she just doesn't seem like she feels like being bothered. She really don't want to be around him. When he is around, he need to be quiet. Don't bother her too much. And so it seems to me like the two ice queens just need to move to Portland and live happily ever after.
Anyway, that is
Anyhow,
it, y'all. We have talked for 2 hours and 30 minutes.
y'all are welcome.
Watch it on 2 times speed, but let us know in the
Yeah.
comments what your thoughts are. Please, are y'all feeling the group therapy or no? Because
It makes for good TV, but it's exploitive. But at the end of the day, all of this would have come out. It's just in the
yeah,
moment, they don't need to be in a pressure cooker situation amongst their peers.
even more of a pressure cooker situation
Yeah.
than they already are in. Have some
Yeah.
decorum, maths. All
They
right.
won't.
We'll see y'all on the next
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.